Stop scrolling, you nerd. Learn something new with invisible speed.
Are you the driver of this car?
Yes, sir. Why?
You just won a free alignment.
I had my car touched by JQ, and now I don't feel safe.
I can say that he did improve his time 10 seconds and his best lap.
Last question, would you recommend the invisible speed course?
Yeah, for sure. Spend your money. Good spend.
If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling!
Techno RC. Techno RC is a championship-winning manufacturer of high-performance A-scale, 10-scale, nitro, and electric RC buggies and trucks. With a worldwide dealer network, USA and Europe-based headquarters, comprehensive warranty program, and global race support, Techno RC is excellence in RC. View the full lineup of Techno RC race-proven vehicles by visiting www.technorc.com.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this grabbing racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. Yeah.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
What's up? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode number 265, the last show of 2023 and the last Lefties Off The Record. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. But you know the routine. We got to start sharing this because I copied JQ on this one. We only got 50 people in her. So, we got to get to 100. We got a little bit of a giveaway from Techno RC. We got Mike I know I'm going to butcher his name. Panackia. We'll let him say his name and he comes on because I'm going to butcher it. He's going to come on and talk a little bit about Techno RC products. So this part of the podcast is brought to you by Techno RC. Then you have Lance MacDonald, who's patiently waiting in the camper with his good friend Nugget to talk a little bit about what we got planned coming up this year in 2024. And then we're going to get into the nitty gritty of things. We got to talk about silly season, upcoming travels, best of, different stuff, and just hang out for a little bit and all that type of stuff. But before we get into all of that, please share this on Facebook, share the YouTube, share Facebook, share it to your groups. I know it's Thursday. People are probably watching football and whatever, but good evening, everybody. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of you who joined in on our Christmas show. If you won a prize in the Christmas show, go find out what you won. Please email me your address and what you won so I can start getting this out and getting you guys prizes. You guys got to go. That's all. You got to go watch it. If you didn't watch it, you probably won because it had patrons and NNRC members in there. So go in there, check out, see what you want. I've received a few emails. I think I've received 4 emails, and we gave away a lot of prizes. So go in there, check it out, and let me know what you want. Email is thenonamercpc@gmail.com. It's all there in the written description. It's probably like near the end of the podcast too, so you can check it out. But before I go on any further, I need to say some thank yous. And first off, thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. It's been a great 2023. I've had a great time coming around, traveling a lot, meeting a lot of you, and it all starts again next week. And I can't wait. If I got stickers for you guys. Just went and picked them up today. So come hit me up if you need some stickers or want to get some stickers for a friend at a race. I love you guys repping the NNRC. Also, thank you to the patrons of the NNRC. Without you guys doing the extra work, I can't do it without you guys. So thank you very much. Also to the NNRC members, YouTube members, if you wish to support this podcast a little bit financially, you can with through Patreon or through the YouTube membership. Hello, Vicky. Oh, Sparker is definitely something we're going to talk about today. Vicky Newland, how you doing? I think that's either Tony or Nikki, but hello, guys. How are you? Of Clinic RC. Also, thank you to all the awesome companies that support the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. If you're a company and you think this is a great platform to advertise your product, hit us up. We are taking an application. We are taking on some more companies for 2024. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Sun Pedal USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Hot Race Tires, Mayako, Beach RC, Clinic RC, Techno RC, Ignite Design RC, Stacked RC, Donovan RC, Racecraft USA. Shout out to the Florida RC Championships, Elite RC Productions. I want to say products, but it's productions. Shout out to my boy Gene Strout. Check him out if you guys want to get some cars built or any maintenance to your car. SJ Racing or Gene Strout Jr. on Facebook. House of RC, Carl RC, RCGP. Shout out to our drivers, David Ronafalt, Jared T-Bill, Robert Battier, Alexander Hagberg, and Maddie G. So, we will take questions. I see people are going crazy in the chat already. Good evening, everybody. Hello, Kevin, Ed, Bobby Thomas was in here, Jason, the original Bruggener, Charlie Mack, Fred Costa, Ronan 456, Bob's RC, Stuart, Fernando Arduino, who's going to be hosting the Worlds. Can't wait for that. And we'll talk about, that's a good topic, Bobby. Let's talk about the state of RC in our rant. But before we do that, we're going to bring on Mike. He's going to do some spotlight on Carl RC products. Carl RC and the No Name RC podcast have teamed up. We have some Carl RC mats, and I have a big package that I'm waiting to get as well. I'll hopefully get it before I leave. And I'll have some hey, Blake Baker, how are you? Happy New Year to you. Thank you for everything. Use some of the Carl RC products on my son's RC boat right there. So we'll bring Mike in. He'll pronounce his name properly. And we'll talk a little bit of Carl RC products, and we'll give a few away. What's up, Mike? Please say your name properly.
Mike Panackia.
Panackia, see?
You almost had it.
I almost had it. I've never met you before. We just talked briefly before you came on her. I know we've been planning to get you on her for quite a while. This man's on vacation, and he's doing this. So thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate that. And thank you for coming on. But Mike Panackia, you're a representative of Carl RC. You're telling me you are from Detroit. And tell us a little bit about yourself and your racing background and your involvement with Carl RC before we move on, please.
Yeah, so just like anybody else, I started as a young kid back in the 80s racing carpet. The only thing around was stadium trucks. Then I had a long hiatus. probably about 7-ish years ago. My wife took me to Windsor to rent some Traxxas Slashes. And then I caught the bug again. And then I started racing 10 scale again, all classes pretty much. And it got me hooked. I don't know. At first, I don't think she was too happy about it, but now she's a big supporter. So then I started racing. I got with Cow RC. I started using their products. I was inquiring about being a member of the team, and from there on, now I'm the team recruiter. I'm here to talk about some products. Yep, pretty much all I do is 10 scale indoor with the X-ray chassis. So that's about a nutshell. That's about it.
You was telling me that you guys you was recently at RC1 for the J Concepts INS race that they had there. So that's cool. And trust me, I love racing 10 scale buggy on carpet and AstroTurf. It's the future. I don't care what anybody says. So we got a bunch of Call RC fans in here. Sorry. No, I was just saying we got Bobby Thomas who's freaking out on Call RC.
Part of the herd.
I know, part of the herd. So, how long have you been involved with Call RC? So my first experience was with Sean Rusin because he's a good friend of mine.
I think I'm breaking up. I'm having a bad connection.
Yeah, something's not right there. Are you not hearing me?
I think I can hear you now.
Okay.
I wasn't. Now I am again.
Okay. My first exposure to Call RC really has been Sean Rusin and Adam Ross. Both of them were friends of mine that I know. And Sean has been with Call RC for quite a long time. He's the one who actually connected myself and Heath. So that was a good thing. How long have you been involved with Call RC?
A little over 3 years. But those Sean and Adam, phenomenal guys. Adam does the Cow Tech every other week on Sundays, usually at 8 o'clock. So I definitely recommend hitting that up. It's a great show. I think we've already done 21 shows so far.
Really?
It's an hour long. And yeah, 21 already. I think there's 22 coming up, if I'm not mistaken. And the hour goes by really quick. Fans call in with questions. We do giveaways. And it's really amazing show. They do a great job. Tyler and Adam both do that show.
Yeah, I've had Adam help me out with my shows as well before. And I met him at PMB back in 2018. So he's also been a big supporter of the podcast for a long time. So great dude. And I know he's heavily involved. I watched a few of his shows. So good stuff. I know that Carl is definitely making a big push into the racing side of things. I know you guys are very big on the bashing side, and you have great guys like Mark Santamaria promoting your brands and Matt's and all that stuff. So I watch a lot of his stuff as well. But I know Heath really wants to push on the racing side of things. So why don't you tell us about some of the products that you would recommend for some of the people that watch this show, which is mostly a 1/8 scale based show. So people spend a lot of time cleaning their 1/8 scale cars.
Yes, I know. I know they get really dirty. So I guess I wouldn't go in any order. But I think a lot of people that are into A scale, one of their go-tos is the Moose Slick silicone protector, which I have right here. That is a excellent dirt repellent, which most of the time people use, that's what they use it for, and corrosion. For instance, anytime you get your car off, you're cleaning it, and you are doing those hinge pins, there's most of the time there's corrosion on those hinge pins, especially A scale. If you spray this on your hinge pins when you're doing your rebuild or a new build, that eliminates a lot of it. Once you get your car clean, you spray this on the bottom of your chassis, your A-arms, and it's so that dirt doesn't stick as much to your car, and you can just brush it off or blow it off. You can even put it on your body. Same thing with the dirt. I don't recommend spraying it directly to the plastic, only because the aerosol itself will kind of make that body a little bit dull. It doesn't have anything to do with the product itself. I recommend this as far as that goes, as far as the dirt repellent goes. Everyone seems to love this stuff. They go through this stuff like it's water, especially A-scale guys. that's the first one.
Okay, I actually like that stuff. I used it on. I was building my Ignite Design RC, shameless plug, gas conversion kit, and I had to clean up some used parts. And I actually did 2 parts. I used the degreaser, which you have in the background there. I used some of that and put it in my what's them vibrated machines called that people use to clean jewelry and stuff. I put it in there.
Cleaner.
That's what it is, an ultrasonic cleaner, and I put it in there, and I did that first rinse. Then I brushed it off and got it all clean, and then this stuff brought all that up to like brand new again. And I actually just recently used it on one of my RC boats too, to shine it up.
Oh yeah,
so it's really good stuff.
It does. It does. It makes it look brand new. Better than kit, really. When you spray that on there, give it a light coat, let it dry, and then another light coat, and you're good to go. Absolutely.
All right, what else would you recommend for people? I see you got some various products back there.
Yeah. So the Utter Butter,
yes.
They come in the jar, the syringe, or the 2-pound jug, whatever is most convenient to you. This is pretty much the best grease that you can get because it's an all-in-one grease. Gears, obviously, it's temperature, the high temperature, waterproof, but especially your diff seals and your shock seals. I know there's a lot of different O-ring grease that's been used. I've used all of it, but this stuff completely almost reduces the swelling. I've actually left the same seals in there for a month, 2-3 months at a time. This stuff is still on there. So I always coat my diff seals and shock seals with the Utter Butter. That is a huge, that worked well for me. And obviously on your gears as well. And people use them from 24 scale all the way up to 5th scale. But as far as a race application goes, this is what I use.
Okay. I actually haven't got any of that yet. I'm supposed to have some of it in the next package. I think I lost it. And then Sean gave me one, and then I left it. So
yeah, you're missing out.
Yeah.
And then real quick, this is kind of like a fan favorite, the hide wipes. These come in a 110 count. There is a soft side and there's an abrasive side, depending on what you need to scrub. This is a non-corrosive formula. It's completely plastic and rubber safe. If you don't feel like spraying anything on your car when it's dirty, you get it off the track, especially running A scale. You just take that wipe, you wipe it down, and it gets completely clean. And if you need a quick wipe on your rims or your tires, it's completely safe for your rubber and plastics as well. This is, and then you can wipe off your mat, and then you can wipe your hands off, and it smells nice too. So once you start using these at the track, you get them stolen because everybody at the track grabs them. But this is definitely a go-to. This is one of my go-tos at the track, and I don't race A scale. I race 10 scale carpet, but that stuff still gets dirty. So the hide wipes are a must for me.
Okay. And then, of course, you have the degreaser, which is pretty good. The Move Clean degreaser. You have one in an aerosol can, as well as the spray bottles and whatnot as well.
Yep. So this is the Move Clean electronic cleaner degreaser. This is a corrosive cleaner. This is something if you want something completely degreased, or you want your screws metal on metal with the screw onto. You're putting some Loctite on it. You can spray this on there, making sure all that gunk is off. If you're gluing your tires and you want the bead clean, you can use this. The cool thing about this is it's not as abrasive. All these things are specifically made for RC. So it's not like you're going to the automotive store and getting a brake cleaner where it's completely corrosive and abrasive to your car. So this dries very well and it's not as corrosive. So I go through this like glue or like water because I'm constantly changing my diffs, different oils and whatnot. So all my metals, I'll use this to spray it down. Again, I go through this constantly, but this is what you want if you want something completely degreased. The other cleaner is the part and chassis wash, which this is a non-corrosive cleaner that actually has ceramic coating in it, and you can actually feel the ceramic when you touch it on your fingers. This is a part and chassis wash, which means if you get your car off the track, you spray it down, spray it anywhere you want. It's not electronic safe. You let it sit for a couple minutes and then either blow it off or wipe it off. And it gives an extra protectant because it has that ceramic coating on it. So this is a non-corrosive. This is a corrosive. This is something you want completely degreased. This is not. For instance, if you get this on your seals or your shock seals, your diff seals, it's not going to take the grease away. This will.
And that's a concentrate right there that you have too. So
yeah, this is a concentrate. Water. Yep, it mixes it as strong as you want. It comes in a 16 ounce, 32 ounce, or the small premix, which is this one. This is only premix. And the reason we did concentrate is for really shipping, and it cuts down on shipping, and also you can make it as strong as you want.
Okay. And then of course, you have your magnetic mats. I have a couple of them. You have your new carbon series mats as well. I'm supposed to get some of them. We just released some NNRC mats too, with an NNRC headlining as well. So yes, those look nice. Those are the rubber ones.
These are the carbon series mats. Yep, these are definitely a go-to when it comes to smaller builds, diff builds, shock builds. We have a big one. It's a 24 by 30, so it's really big. That is my go-to when I go to the track. You can beat it up. Oil on it, anything you want, you just wipe it off. And usually we use the mousse slick to spray it on there to keep it treated. And plus, it really makes the carbon series pop. And then your choice, if it's a combo, you can put the magnetic inside of it as well to have a magnetic mat to catch your screws as well. So that comes in a combo if you would like. If not, get it on its own.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the magnetic stuff because I'm always dropping screws and stuff like that. So it's a good stuff. And of course, you have your blower, your air blower. You have the multi-stage one. This one. I was just using this the other day, actually.
So this definitely is a choice of an A-scale driver or anybody really, whatever conditions you're in, because this has a variable speed. The old Jet Blaster Turbo was extremely strong, which is great, but it only had one speed, which is 0 to take your skin off. This has variable speed, which is slower we can dial it up to take your skin off instead of just blowing everything off the track. So I don't go anywhere without this. Everybody uses this. The Jet Blaster Turbo with variable speed was a great deal to have, especially because, again, you can use it indoors, outdoors, dial up the power, dial it down.
Okay, awesome. What's up, Tyrone? I was actually just using that the other day in a non-RC thing. I was cleaning my son's PlayStation 5 while we was cleaning it, and I used it to blow out all the dust and stuff like that. Especially with the little attachments, it was able to get on there and to clean it out. All right, so we do. I guess we'll go on to. We do have a few things to give away, but we do have a few questions. Bob Thomas wants to know, what is next for Carl RC? I'm looking for his question. Let me see. Yeah, so he basically wants to know what is next. Anything new for 2024 for Carl RC coming up?
There's a couple things in mind that are coming out. We just came out with some brushes. There might be some other items that are coming out as far as maintenance goes. Last year, there was a ton of new products that came out, and I guess it was just a coincidence by the way the timing was, but they were all phenomenal. So there's some things in the works when it comes to new stuff in 2024.
Okay. He also wants to know, will Carl RC make an air filter oil or air filter cleaner? He was just asking.
An air filter cleaner. That's a good question. Well, it all depends how abrasive you want to get. It's specifically for an air filter cleaner. We don't have that at the time, but we do have different things that are multi-use.
Okay. Does anybody else have any more questions before we start going into? I don't even know how we're going to do this giveaway thing. How do you think we should do it? I don't know. What are we going to give away? It's not too much. I know we gave away about 6 mats the other day. Here's something that's pretty interesting. Johnny Miller says, I'd love to see a caddy to carry all my Carl RC products.
Yeah, that seems to be a popular request lately, especially in the Cowtech forum. That might be something in the future.
Okay, good stuff. I mean, it's the sky's the limit with this type of stuff. He's pretty progressive. He's pretty. He. If you say it, he'll try and make it happen. I know that pretty good. Oh, we look like we lost Mike. All right, so his internet dropped for a second, and I'm gonna wait for him to come back. Hopefully, he'll be back shortly. But there we go. The Autobot is amazing, said Jonathan. What's up, Ty? Perry Zilla, how are you? Call release duffel bag, says starting over. Unfortunately, Mike dropped. His internet dropped. So I'm hoping he'll be back shortly. But in the meantime, we'll just take some of your questions. I see a lot of guys use these products. I have a big package coming as well. And we actually gave away 6 NNRC small mats. So we have some NNRC magnetic mats with the carbon mat rubber outer part. And then we have a header. I don't know what happened to Mike. His internet dropped completely. So hopefully he'll be back on in a bit. But I think, yes, I love this stuff. I use it on my boat. So the other day, so you guys saw that on my Christmas present picture, right? You saw a big, it was an RC boat under those bags. That's actually not mine. That's my son's boat. It's a gas Rico 48 catamaran, gasoline catamaran. It's used. Shout out to my boy Blake Baker, who helped me go get that. And it was a little bit dull the other day. Here's Mike. He's back. I'm waiting for him to come back. We lost you. Bad internet.
Yeah, right. That's what happens when you're in Milwaukee, huh?
There you go. There you go. I was just telling these guys. So I was using some of the Mousse Slick, the Mousse Slick, like to just and I put a coat. I sprayed it all over the body. It's a gel coat fiberglass, and it's red. I'm gonna have some pictures up of it and stuff like that. And it made that gel coat pop. So it looked very good. That I really like that Mousse Slick stuff because it definitely brings things up, makes it look shiny and all that stuff. I used to use WD-40 for all of that back in the day. So yeah. All right. So Bob wants to know, will you guys make an air filter oil? So this is nitro specific.
That wasn't talked about, but the thing is with especially in our Cowtech, we take all kinds of questions and comments, and we've gotten a lot of ideas and products just over requests. So as of now, no, but that might be something if there's enough requests that he would look into.
Okay, here's another one from my boy EKJ 24,000. How about an 8-scale nitro pipe cleaner? So this is a big thing in nitro. These pipes get so gunky, right? So the trick is you actually put them in you got a crock pot. You put antifreeze in there and you boil these pipes for like 24 hours, 48 hours in the crock pot. And it takes all that nitro gunk and all that stuff, cleans them out real good. But that would definitely be something that you guys can look into. I know it's going to have to be some serious chemicals because that stuff gets in there and it stays in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So where can people order the stuff? I know you can order stuff from callrc.com. I know A-Main's carrying it as well. So where would you recommend people to order the stuff for? You as a team recruiter, what are you looking for in team members if they want to come apply as well?
Oh, well, I would go to cowrc.com just because that website was revamped and it's amazing. And there's all different types of products that you can order. So we ship US and Canada only. So that's probably the main place that I would go to for the CowRC products. Now, as far as being a team member, we were all customers at first. If you were interested, you get familiar with the products. Hit me up on Facebook. We can chat about what the requirements would be, and we'll go from there. If you go on the CowRC fan page, you can kind of get the gist of how the posts are. And I think if you go on the cowrc.com tech page where it shows all the tech shows, episode 7 and 15 will kind of explain it.
Okay. Cool stuff. I think I was talking to Heath. We're probably gonna have somebody, you or him or somebody from Call RC, come on like once every couple of months here on the podcast to do some stuff with us. So we'll keep in touch with all that type of stuff. Obviously, we started a type of Heath and I have been doing something for the last year, and then we're ramping it up a bit next. This year is coming, so that's good to see. He's a cool dude. I like dealing with him. And you have a lot of people in here that use this product. I think it's starting to gain some popularity in the RC racing scene, which is good. And it's good, all good stuff. So what are we going to give away tonight? Mike, I know we have a few items, not too many.
Yep. Well, since you're kind of geared toward the A scale specific at this point, and the product we didn't go over is the ultra light or light grease. And actually it's a mousse slick like grease. So what that is when you're building those axles, it's no need to put thick gunky grease on there. This grease, you can put your axles together and just spray it in there, and you'll see it bubble up and it'll absorb, which gets into everywhere and seeps in, and it doesn't attract as much dirt. So that could be a giveaway as well. Okay. And that again, that's a newer product, but I absolutely love it, even for 10 scale stuff. So I say my products, I would say, how about some hide wipes, mousse slick, some udder butter, and the lighter grease.
All right. Well, let's give away
however you want to do it.
Let's give away one of them each. Now, how are we going to do this? You know what? I think because he was in her first. Let me see. The first person who was in her. It was Fernando, but he's not in Brazil. So that's not going to happen. We're going to give Bob Thomas something because he was the second to first person. Fernando was first, but Fernando started at he's in Brazil. We're not going to be able to send it to him, but we're going to send Bob Thomas. He's been the most active in the chat. So he's automatically getting one of those items. I don't know what it is, but he'll get one of those items. Oh, Charlie Mack, yeah, boom. You want a whole bunch of stuff on the Christmas show. All right. How should we do this? I tell you what. Go ahead. You got an idea?
So if you pick Bob Thomas, what type of racing does he do?
Exactly. What type of racing do you do, Bob Thomas? I'll tell you what. The first person to message me on Facebook or my personal account and say, "Moo," will get something. The first person, we're going to do it that way. He's more wrecker than racer. Bobby Thomas races 8 scale. So let me see who's going to be the first person to message me on Facebook, on my personal Facebook. You know who it was? Mike Petroselli. He was the first person.
Okay.
Oh man, we had 3 people. It was Mike Petroselli, Jonathan Hilton, Monty Wolf, Kyle Chasen, Tyrone Robinson. That's his message to me so far. So Mike, you're gonna get it first. Jonathan says lies. No, I'm right here. I should have had my other camera. I could have shown you. Yeah, Mike, Jonathan, Monty, Kyle Chasen, Tyrone Robinson. Okay. I got another question for you. The first person in the chat to type the exact slogan of the No Name RC podcast, you'll win a product from Call RC. The whole slogan. So you got to put that. The first person to put the whole slogan in. Nope, you can't. Gary Wright wins. Gary Wright wins. He's the first person. Nope, not Mike. You already won. You can't win again, Mike. Nitrous Glory, but no. Am I gonna? Yes, we'll take in your spelling correction. So Gary Wright wins the second prize. What's up, Buggy Brent? Oh man, you guys really want to win some stuff. All right. Let's see. We need a Call RC specific question. Come on, Mike. What do you think we should do?
Well, how about what a Cow RC that they would know. These Cow RC people are going to win, though. That's the thing, because they've been watching the tech show. Okay. What is the best thing to clean your metal screws with before you put Loctite on? Whoever answers first gets that product.
I got it, Lance. That's a good question. I wouldn't know the answer to this, so I will let you know. We got Dan Perdue says, Dan Jen says Simple Green. Bob's RC says alcohol. Johnny Miller says Moo Clean X. Moo Clean says Tyrone. EKJ says 24/7 says Moo Slick. Kyle Chasen says a cleaner. XP Panic says spit. RC Jar says utter butter. Jacob says Moo Clean. DL Adventure says call RC Electronic Safe Cleaner. Bob's RC says alcohol. Jacob Wilking says Moo Clean. So I guess none of these guys are getting it right.
Which Moo Clean is it?
Ooh. So you have to be specific. Which Moo Clean is it? Meant Moo Clean?
Yeah, meant Moo Clean. Which Moo Clean is it? What's the best product to do?
Cleaner or degreaser?
It's
Metal Moo Clean? All right, so who got cleaner and degreaser? Jacob Wilkening. All right. So we have Mike, Gary, and Jacob have won something. How many products we said we're going to give away? 4?
4 or 5. Yeah, we had 4. Yep.
Okay, I have a question, and this is actually a good one. What year was the Call RC Facebook created?
Whoever gets this
How many people
gets the hide wipes.
Whoever winner this one gets the hide wipes. Ooh, I have the answer here. I want to thank Lance MacDonald for this. That was a good one, Lance. He's good at this type of stuff. He's really good at this type of stuff. Nope, nobody's got it yet. 2916. Ooh. What's up, Lee? How are you? Good day from Australia. RC Jers. 2011. He's all Sparkified. Sparkified RC Jers. That's a great YouTube channel. Go check him out. RC Jers, you won that as well. All right, one more question. I think we're going to make this NNRC related. I did ask this question. I kind of want to ask it again. Oh, I got a good question for this. People that know the NNRC will know this. What was the name of this city? Mike dropped again. But anyway, what was the name of the city that I stayed, that the International Buggy Challenge is held on, that I was at this year? And what country? Congratulations, RC Jers. The International Buggy Challenge that I attended this year, what is the name of the city and the name of the country that I was at in? Nope. Nope. Wrong, Charles. You got to name the city. He says, woman fight for Old Spice and hide wipes. That was a good one, Bobby. That was good. Oh, you guys, it's a very easy. Nope, not Porto. I flew into Porto, though, so it is Portugal. You got that right. I flew into Portugal. What? Portugal, Spain. Those are two different countries. Portugal is a country that speaks Portuguese, and Spain is a country that speaks Spanish. Nope, Madrid is in Spain. Oscar. Nuclear Crypto. Lance, quick question. Are you bringing the RV to Raja Race? I would like to pit in that area and know what you park there. Mike, they got some janky internet up there in Wisconsin.
The only thing they're good for is cheese up here.
I know. Where's Rory Harlow? He's usually in her. Okay. RC Jazz? Really? You know what? I said not. This type of question is already answered. He's the only one that got it.
Did we get
Barcelona's
answer
Portugal? Yeah. So my question was, what was the name of the country and the city that I was in Portugal this year? Well, the name of the country is Portugal, and obviously the city is Barcelona. So I was there. Barcelona. Salty Joe, you are Portuguese. You don't even know what country I was in. Hey, Mike.
It can only be shipped to the U.S. and Canada anyway.
I know, but they know I went there, so they know where I went. But you know what? You are too wrong. We're gonna give it to RC Drives because you guys took too long. So RC Drives won 2 prizes. So that's 2 prizes for him. And I think that's what. So it was Mike, Gary, Bob, Mike, Gary, RC Drives. That's 5.
Okay.
That's 5. So I think that's 5 products that we gave away from Call RC. Mike, I know you have to get to your wife and get away from this janky internet. I want to thank you for your time. We're going to have you on. I guess the best way, look, I'm telling you guys, send me your name, email me, thenonamercpc@gmail.com. Send me what you won and your address to send it to, and I'll send it over to Mike. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Heath from Call RC. Thank you to all the Call RC family for joining us tonight. Mike, get off this janky internet and enjoy the rest of your vacation. Have a happy New Year's, good buddy. Thank you for your time.
Happy to you. Thank you.
We'll have you back on. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. All right, Mike. Take care, buddy. Thank you. Oh, we'll have an NNRC discount code as well. Up next, let's bring the man, the myth, the legend. He's been patiently waiting. He hasn't been doing any cleaning. He's been listening to the show. I thought you were supposed to be packing for this trip down to Raja's race.
Well, I was supposed to, Lefty, but I didn't want to be like some people are late to your show in the middle of doing other things.
You mean JQ?
Possibly. But so I've been sitting here listening to the show. So
thank you for that question. It was a good one.
Yep, I even got my Cal RC blaster that I picked up at P&B in 2017.
There you go.
It's going on 7 years old this April.
Absolutely.
That I've had. I use it to clean up my computers with and just blow off my equipment and all that. So we use it all the time. We
do, because it gets dusty when we're out there, and we have to clean all that stuff up. All right. Well, season's greetings to you, Lance, and the family and everybody. I'll be seeing you very soon. Well, you're off to Clash next week. Well, first you have Raja's race this weekend.
I do. Yep. Going down to not Newport Richie, Port St. Lucie, which is about a 4-hour drive from where I'm currently located at in northern Florida, for a 3-day event down there. And then the same time you're traveling up to Beast of the East in North Carolina, I'll be on the road headed to Indiana for the Clash of Champions 10-scale race.
All right. So, Nuclear Crypto. Lance, are you parking the camper right next to the fence?
I am not. I am going to be parking the camper away because my wife is coming down. We'll have our dogs with us. And so I'll be away from the track a little bit.
Ty, we're going to talk about my travels when we finish with Lance. All right, Lance. So we had you on her. Well, we've got you on her. I know you're busy getting packed up and ready. You're leaving tomorrow, right? But I wanted to talk. Obviously, we've been working a lot together this year with Elite RC Productions. We've been coming to Florida RC Championships and various other races. So I wanted to talk about something that we kind of touched on a bit the last time when we did one of the waffles. But I wanted to touch on it a little bit more because we have been talking about it. We're about to go into full geek out mode over the next couple of weeks on it. Is the Elite RC Championship Point Series. We haven't really got a name for it, so I guess we're just gonna call it that for now. Good night, bro. Akil, tell your son I said hello. So he's over in Malaysia. It's very late. Have a happy new year and all that type of stuff. Thank you for the support. Tell Adam I said hello. And you guys got a new Kyosho driver and Kyle McBride, who I'm going to talk about in silly season. So one of the things that I wanted, I kind of was talking to you about when we came up with the when we just all brainstorming what we're going to do with Elite is something that I really want to do, which was a virtual series. We always say we want a series of races put together. I know we have top 25 RC rankings. We have also Mike Fuller's American top 25 rankings, but those are all based on on an algorithm with top 25, and then Mike's one's based on 2 years prior. I want to do an actual series that starts at a race in the year and finishes at a race in the year. So we kind of did this with the NNRC podcast. We did the NNRC points, NNRC Cup, all that type of stuff. People that geeked out on this podcast actually paid attention. Actually, even got a trophy made for it and drove up to Tennessee to pick it up, and then gave it to Mayfield and took a picture of it. But I've said on the podcast a lot as well that we think that with the race time events being 4 events that we know most of the pro drivers go to, as well as most of the same people that race in the Southeast go to these events in the intermediate and sportsman classes, and then throw in a couple of West Coast races like DNC, Silver State, Nationals, and a couple of more races. We kind of wanted to make a series and just have a points. We always talk about it. We want to have a points series. Well, we kind of decided to go ahead and do it next year. Let people know. I know you're better at talking about this stuff than me. So give us a little where we're kind of sitting at right now.
Yeah, so we don't have, as you said, we don't have the final specifics that are laid out for it just yet. But here is the basics and the gist of it. There'll be 2 parts to it. There'll be a national version of it, and then there'll be a regional version of it. The national version of it will follow the pro classes, the pro divisions, and it's only going to follow buggy, truggy. That's nitro buggy, e-buggy, and then nitro truck. Those would be the 3 that it's going to follow. It's not going to follow 40 plus. It's not going to follow e-truggy or anything along those lines. It's just going to follow those 3 on the national side, only for the pro classes. On the regional side of things, it will follow all of the classes also that are related to nitro buggy, nitro truggy, and to e-buggy. So none of the other classes are going to be included in that. The classes will be broke down in between sportsman, intermediate, and pro, or whatever they're called, opens, whatever, open will be the same as intermediate, but there does need to be 3 defined classes or 3 skill levels. So I'll go back to the national side of it for the pro division. So as you already touched on, we will include the 4 race time entertainment events. I believe RC Pro-Am also has the classes broke down that way. I need to talk to also Fall Brawl. Also, I need to talk to Brent, to Mark Moon about his to see maybe we can divide his classes up a little bit differently to have his series included, or his 2 races included. Obviously, we'll include DNC, include Silver State, include Nationals. Nationals will need to hold a little bit more clout when it comes to it, because obviously that race is a little bit more prestigious than the other class. Not taking anything or races, and not taking anything away from them, but that one there just holds a little bit more prestige and matters the most. So it'll need to be either a double points or have some additional points that are tied in with it. And that's on the national series. There are some other races that we need to look at as well. There are a couple of races that are held up north that we need to take a look at. There are some Midwest races that we need to take a look at that the pros are traveling to, and different things like that. So for the regional side of things, we would include the 4 race time entertainment events, Mark Moon's 2 events, and then the 2 events from Beach RC and Brent Densford, Futsal Brawl and RC Pro-Am, that will handle the open divisions or intermediate divisions, same one in the same class, and then your sportsman entry level. There will be some drops that will be involved in those classes. We'll need to determine how many drops we're going to do of those 8 races. So to try to keep things as fair as possible and go from there.
Yeah, I agree. We've had people talking about this. I know people might say, well, this is probably just an East Coast type of regional series, but I mean, to be honest, that's where we kind of are based on this. We know that generally the same amount of people that attend all these races kind of attend. We had 8 indoor races this past year in the Southeast, and it was pretty much the same amount of people in intermediate, same amount of people in sportsmen that attended. So we're just trying to, and it's only going to be to B main, if I remember, if we said correctly. Like, obviously, if you are like 100th, you're not going to get any points. But it's just going to be, still working on the point system. So I think you have to make an A or B main, or a certain number of people, top 30, 40, or whatever from each class to count for points. We're talking about doing some drops, and this is all virtual. You know what I mean? This is not going to be for prizes. There's not going to be nothing involved in it. I mean, it might be at some point, but right now it's just something that we're trying out. It's gives us something to talk about. It adds a little bit more value to, people can, then it's the start of something. We always say we want a point series. We want this and that and that and that, a ranking system. Well, what we're going to do is use actual races and rank people off them. So, and talk about it. And it gives, people extra motivation not to just give up when they go to this race either. Like, hey, I'm not doing too well, but I can make this. If I can finish my race, I can get some points. So I think it will be great. It's something that I'm big on. It gives me something as a podcaster and a commentator to talk about. And I think it brings a little bit of added excitement to those races. I mean, look at the Florida RC Championships, for example, where people go into these races thinking about points, where normally a person would have give up if they broke or tire come unglued. They'll go in there, fix it, and go out there and try to manage to get some points.
Yeah, the points, and I'll just touch on the Florida RC Championships. The points, people would be asking about points literally on the drive home the next day when I'm trying to get home on Sunday. Have you calculated the points yet? And got them up. I started right at the very end, other than the last round. I would post the points up almost immediately after the end of the race. Because people were asking for it extremely quickly, and they wanted to know. I will admit that I did kind of delay releasing the end of the year points because I was enjoying watching people trying to calculate things in their head to figure stuff out, and sending me messages and, hey, is this right? It was kind of, I was enjoying it. I really was. There might have been a little bit of torture that was involved in that. And I was having fun with it, but it was cool to see how well the points worked out and how close the battles were coming all the way down to the very end and the majority of the classes. It was really, really cool. So. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Plus, seeing you guys. Our first big race of the year will be where the whole elite team will be together at SIC. I know we have some things planned for that race as well that we're going to try and implement. Well, no, we're not going to try that. We are going to implement into the race. It is the first major 1/8 scale race of the year. It has turned into that kicks it off. It's going to be, it's historically always cold there. So I'm pretty excited to use my nice card hard jacket that I have. and I'm looking forward to it. My first time going to SIC.
Yeah, it is typically cold there. I mean, it's January in Alabama, central Alabama, so it's going to be a little chilly. So I am too looking forward to it. And right now we are on schedule to have some No Name RC podcast shirts available for purchase. I know a lot of people have been asking for that. If everything works out, we should have them at SIC available for purchase. They will be very limited availability. You do have to be on site to be able to purchase them. But nothing's for sure yet. Once I know that they're being printed and will be available, I'll make the announcement on that. So,
okay. Beach RC will be at SIC.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Jones says Raw needs a point system. I agree, but they need to have more than one race as well.
Yeah, Dan. I wouldn't say they don't need a point system. Honestly, they need a ranking system is what they need, and is really more what they need is a ranking system.
Jeremy Stump, just my opinion. Everyone has one. Hopefully, bigger venues bring down their cost per entry. $150 an entry is ridiculous. A few people have become money hungry. So I just want to address this because AMS was $150 because it's a capped race.
Mm-hmm.
That's the early race, and then it was $150 for the first class, and then it went down each class you read that. Normally, at all the other races, it's between $70 and $100.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why. All right. So anything else you want to talk about before I know you got stuff to do, and I wasn't going to have you on her too long. We're excited about Elite RC. We're working on our webpage, all this type of stuff, and obviously you're seeing our Facebook stuff. Check us out. We're having fun, and we're about ready to, we've been home for 3 weeks. Well, I have. And we're about ready to kick into gear and get ready for 2024.
Yeah, we got a really busy race season ahead of us. I do want to just say one very quick thing to Jeremy. Before you just look at a $150 entry fee, and then you look at a particular number that you see how many entries are there, you really need to be on the other side of it. I can tell you there are people that look at it from the outside in and think they have it figured out, but then when they do get on the inside, they're like, "Oh my God, I had no idea."
I was one of those people.
Yeah, there are a lot of extreme costs that are involved in these things that a lot of people don't know about.
All right, so points would allow for RC fantasy leagues. That's something, and a lot of people want to gamble. I mean, that's not the goal of my point here. I mean, I have nothing wrong with gambling, but I do like the thought of RC fantasy leagues. But that's something that has to come after we first got a point system done, and actually get people going.
Yeah.
Oscar Painter wants to know: will Elite RC cover or be at any West Coast races? Not that I know of.
Yeah, don't plan on doing any West Coast races. Matt Olson does a really good job out there on the West Coast. He has that market very, very well covered and does a fantastic job. So we have no at this time we have no intentions of going out there. The only way we would is if Matt was to call us and he's double booked or something along those lines. But we would have to have his blessing to move to events that he would typically cover.
All right. Does anybody? Zachary says, I'll be in your RC Fantasy League day one, Lefty. I'm sure. Dan Jones says East versus West. I mean, it's all possible. We're dealing with the East because that's the races that we'll primarily be at. We know that the races are the general amount of races all come to that race. There's races. There's 8 races that we talked about. Yeah. The Nationals is it's just pro only, right? And DNC is going to be pro only, and Silver State is going to be pro only. I would love to do West Coast, but we have to know who's going to be there. It has to be the same, the same amount of people going to those races as well.
Yeah.
So
just keep in mind that whenever we are talking about a point series that is not a part of of my scoring system is something that I have to build manually. And a large event like DNC and Silver State, where there's 1,000 entries, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of entries that would have to be calculated manually. The margin of error there could be a little bit high, and boy, as soon as you get 1 point wrong, you'll hear about it and you'll be thrashed and hung, tarred, feathered everywhere on social media because somebody's in 12th place when they really should be in 11th place. So it's just not worth dealing with, honestly, to cover the West Coast on the open/intermediate side, sportsman side. So,
yeah, and to be fair, it's the people that are going to most pay attention to the class that people are going to pay the most attention to is going to be the pro class in the way, in that way. So it's just, I can't think of a series of races that all West Coast racers go to at this point. Yes, they go to DNC. Yes, they go to Silver State.
Yeah.
But they don't go down to Lone Star. Then they don't. You know what I mean? So it's
Yep.
different. And Corey Humphreys. This is a good question. Can we get a B-Nets started this year?
Yeah. So there's been some discussions about that kind of stuff as far as East Coast, West Coast B-Nats or super regional Nats or super regionals, excuse me, not super regional Nats, but super regionals. There's been some discussions about that. Before we cross over into that side of things, there needs to be some corrections on the nationals side, which there has been clearly everybody sees in the last 12 to 18 months. There have been huge strides that have been made at nationals for the Roar races. So I being a part of the Roar committee, executive committee, and things like that, you know, there are a lot of ideas. We are all listening to what people are suggesting and things like that. It comes down to manpower, availability, what can be done. There are a lot of events that are going on. There's also, you know, was discussion about partnering with other events like race time entertainment events or Fall Brawl or DNC and Silver State and working in conjunction with those. But then how do you manage that? Is it going to be specifically only to the pros side of things that the Roar side handles it? Or are you going to have to manage the entire event? And then you start dealing with a lot of manpower that's going to be required from an event that's not going to be, or excuse me, from lack of resources and funding to be able to pay for that. So there are a lot of things that go into it that we have to work out, but we still need to make sure everything is correct for nationals before we start looking at other things. I will say that 2024, you are going to be seeing a lot more happening in your regions. Everybody needs to pay attention to what region they're in. If you have any aspirations at all of going to a nationals and qualifying for a nationals, 2024 might be the year that you start running your regional events or pushing your region directors to run your events. I'm not letting anything out of the bag because nothing is specific yet, but I'm just telling you, you better start paying attention to the regionals that are taking place in your area and looking into those events or contacting your region directors and working with them to put together regional events.
Absolutely. Lance, I'm going to let you tackle this question. I'll be right back. I've got to go to the lavatory, and I will be right back in 1 minute.
Is there an equivalent on the East Coast south to the JBRL series? And yeah, so I highly recommend you take a look at my own personal series, Florida RC Championships. My series is a capped entry. I don't just let that just run amok. I do hold a lot of prestige on that side of it as far as keeping it capped. But yeah, in 2024, 5 of our 7 rounds on the 8 scale side sold out in 15 minutes. So, or 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So as far as having a very prestigious series, yeah, I think it's probably, to be honest with you, it's probably the best in the nation. You should really check it out.
Also, I would like to add to that JBR was kind of SoCal based. It's kind of like the Florida RC Championships. It's based in Florida. So JBR is kind of based in California, whereas at the race time events, Mark Moon's events, and Brent's events, you get people from all of Southeast, from I would say from Alabama
Midwest.
back, Northeast, and all. It's a big
Midwest,
watch. It's huge. Like these events are huge. What's up, Weldon? How are you, man? Merry Christmas to you, my good friend Weldon. All right, I'm not gonna keep Lance here all day. So what would you say to somebody who says this Raw should support local tracks? Well, I think tracks should become Raw tracks.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
So that the ball immediately switches over to their court. Are they a member of ROAR? So, it all comes down to financings. So people want them to support the tracks. So what type of support are you looking for? There's already rules and organization that's put in place that tracks can use to benefit from. There is additional help that comes in on the insurance side to help keep those overhead costs that are high for tracks. I can tell you as an insurance agent, insurance policies can range anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 per year for tracks, and tracks don't make a lot of money to start with. That's a huge overhead. They can jump in with ROAR. Now there is some work that is going to have to be involved for benefits of having that cheaper premium, and everybody that attends the track does have to be a ROAR member. So then it's time to put the money where the mouth is and join ROAR. The driver has to join ROAR, and then there's a financial benefit that helps the track out with their insurance requirements that may be from a leaser or something along those lines.
Absolutely. All right. If you guys don't have any more questions for Lance, I'm going to let him go and finish his packing up because I know he wants to get on the road early tomorrow. Is Lance the RD at SICK? Yes, he is.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, yep. I'll be there. I would like to get there Tuesday night. We may not get there till Wednesday morning.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll definitely
we'll leave Beast of the East and come right to your house, I assume.
Yep.
So
yeah, we are full production team on this one. So we'll have multiple moving cameras, interviews, pit interviews. It is a full blown production.
Absolutely. What's up, Donnie's dad? See you. He says he'll see us at SIC as well. Mm-hmm. Oh, Joe Jenkins would like to know, can we get some more details about the practice format at SIC?
Yeah, SIC is just open practice. So it'll just run 5-minute rotations, 5 minutes up on the stand, and you come out and marshal. There's no class structure. There's no seating practice or anything like that. It is strictly open practice.
No block practice?
No block practice. Block practice is going to, I don't want to step on Dave's toes or anything like that. But block practice will be at PMB. There'll be 12 hours of block practice. So it is important that people do go online. If you're planning on attending PMB, you really need to sign up online because I use RC sign up to determine how long the block practice sessions are. And if you don't sign up online, it kind of messes up my math that is related to how the block practice works. So anyway, if you would please take the time to sign up for PMB. That opens up on January the 5th. So just what are we probably 7-8 days away now
next week
from January. Yeah, next week. So make sure you please go and sign up if you're planning on attending PMB and you haven't experienced the block practice format that I kind of came up with. It will. I'm not going to say it's going to completely eliminate a line, but you will not be standing in line for hours and hours. That will not happen there.
RC Drives wants to know what's your favorite race to go to, Lance?
Me personally. All right. So for years and years, it was Wicked Weekend was always my favorite. I love that kind of outdoory feel. But then I also have our first year we did RC Pro-Am this year. So I really kind of liked how that thing is put together with the teams and to see the involvement that was taking place with
Draft night.
with the sportsman drivers, it was really, really cool how that all went down. So I really liked that. Then I'll give a shout out to Mark Moon as well. So at his races, we do block practice at his, and to see the pro drivers get like an hour and a half where they can just really focus on driving. And then we also have volunteer marshals that come out, and those volunteer marshals during that hour and a half of practice, now they have to marshal for an hour and a half. There are some serious $800, $900 prizes that are given away to that select group of people that marshal for that hour and a half that has a chance for it. So that's really cool as well. So Wicked Weekend, my favorite race time entertainment event. I really like the RC Pro-Am. I can't wait to do that again this year. And then I really like the way Mark gives away the prizes and stuff like that at his events for North Georgia Shootout and the Georgia Peak State Classic. So
okay. Mike Petroselli asks, would Elite consider doing races in the Northeast? I want to just, before I like the draft night at RC Pro-Am. That was fun.
It was fun. That was really, Brent kind of told me the gist of what was going on. I had no idea what in the hell I was doing. I really didn't.
You did a good job.
Everything that you've seen was totally off the cuff, just figuring out as we go. To answer Mike's question, that it was kind of asked earlier about the West Coast side. As far as the East Coast side, absolutely, we are open for anything. We would love to do something up in the Northeast, and if you have something in mind, just please shoot us a text or a message, either on my personal page or hit up Keenan. But yeah, we'd love to do it.
Okay. Nuclear Crypto says, Lance, do you ever talk to Scotty Ernst? I haven't seen him announce races as much as he used to. Scotty was busy this year. He did like 20-something events.
Yep.
But Scotty did a lot of overseas stuff.
Yeah, he does a lot overseas. As far as producing events here, he's a little bit more involved, not only on the announcing or directing side, but on the promotion and organizing side. So he holds a lot of hats on that side of it, and you can't do too many events whenever you're doing double duty. Just like the RC Chili Bowl is coming up this week or next week. He's the full organizer of that event, so he's really got his hands full, and you can't do a whole bunch of races when you're that heavy into it.
Yeah, he's got also the he does a lot of the stuff over in Asia, and he has the EOS series in Europe. He's also doing races in the UK, and then he has the Asian Buggy Championship, which is doing just 4 races, which is going to be New Zealand, Philippines, Malaysia, and Australia next year. So he's super busy on that side of things. And I'm pretty sure he's probably going to be doing DNC, Silver State. I believe he's doing PMB. And Scotty did Masters. He was the RD at Masters as well. So he's busy. He's super busy. And then he's got his own events, like he had Cleveland, the Cleveland race. That was 2 weeks of his life there spent in Cleveland, Ohio. So there's a lot of racing going on, and Scotty is obviously well known around the world. So he goes where he has a lot of things. He is wearing a lot of hats, like Lance said. So all right. Dan
Jones asked a question. I do think Roar has too many regions, though. I don't. I disagree with that. I do think there might even be a couple of regions that honestly probably should be split. I think they're a little bit too big, or there should be an A and B of that region, because it really stretches out the racer trying to attend a regional event. So I've looked into that as well. Do we have too many? I think the way it's kind of broke down is fairly good. I personally think there are a couple of regions that really need to be split up a little bit. Either be an AB or add in a 12th, 13th or something along those lines.
Absolutely. All right. Also, before you leave, I just want to put out the invitation. If you guys are coming on to Florida, you're looking to hit up a great series race and have a lot of fun. It's a 1 day race, but most people do it in 2. Check out the Florida RC Championships. We'll be doing the first round of that at Dean's All Out later on in January.
Yeah.
We have the banquet coming up as well.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to attend all the one. And of course, we have the 110 scale championships coming up, which I'll be doing a lot of the virtual race calling for as well. And the 1/8 scale as well. So if you want to come to a really cool, more laid back event, series race that you'll get good run time, you'll get to compete with people in your own class, come check out the Florida RC Championships, which in my opinion, probably the best, if not one of the best RC championships. Full coverage, full pictures, everything, you name it. And it's all done in 1 day, pretty much. But you can come on Friday. Have some fun. And oh man, we got some more questions for you though, Lance.
Okay.
All right. So Blake Baker says the Raw Club Racing Series. That could be something as well.
Yeah. That would maybe be something that Roar could work with their track affiliates and put some things together. It kind of gets back to
manpower.
I really don't think Roar needs a series, so to say. I think they really need to focus more on a ranking system. The ranking system will solve a lot of our problems that we have. A lot of people scream about, people sandbagging this, that, and everything else, but that's one way to fix that kind of stuff. Once you hit a certain level, this is what you have to run. This is where your license says, you have to be. So I'm not so sure about the series side of things, especially on the national side. Again, it was some ideas that have been kicked around and talked about. So,
RC Jazz wants to know what's your favorite Florida track in the series.
That's a tough one right there.
I know you can't say one because somebody's going to get upset.
Boy, really put me on the spot on that one. So,
you know what? I would plead the fifth on that one. But we can't break the. Yeah, we'll save some other news we heard about a Florida track coming up for a later date.
Yeah, I can't say a whole lot about that one just yet.
Yeah.
Give me 30 days.
Yeah, Raw needs a non-stale website. I agree. They're actually working on their website. Yeah. They are working on their website.
That is talked about, Oscar, at every single executive committee meeting that I have been a part of since I have joined Roar. They know they need it very, very badly. And I'm going to circle right back around once again. It all comes down to funding. The people that are helping with the website are not being paid. So, or what they are being paid is minimal. Web design is not cheap. It is extremely expensive. While everybody wants a brand new website, more streamlined, more user-friendly, everybody does. It also comes down to the cost side of it. So, anyway.
And one more question, and we'll let you go, Lance, because it's getting late.
Yes.
Does Raw even let you know what tracks are Raw?
Yes, they do. Yeah. The last time I had looked on there are, when you go to your region, it tells you what tracks are Roar affiliated. Matter of fact, I'm actually going to their website right now. So I think I've seen another question pop up as well. So if you want to ask me that real quick while I'm looking this up.
Which word do we see? Pros and crafts.
I'm going to my own region right now.
Yeah, Dan also says that the last time he was at the website, it was a mess. Lance, is there going to be is there going to be races at Southside?
No.
There we go.
So Southside RC Raceway, which is my track that I run and manage. My parking lot was already kind of small to begin with. It wasn't the biggest. It could easily handle a 250 entry race, but it was packed. Now the majority of my parking lot is a retention pond.
Yeah, I saw that for myself.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we just don't have the room anymore to host a large event at this time. So yes, when I go on, just real quick, when I logged into Roar and I clicked on my region, which is Region 4 for Florida, I scroll down to the bottom and it tells me the affiliated clubs, and currently there are 6 affiliated clubs in the state of Florida right now.
Okay, good stuff. And this has got to be Lucas. Raw needs a highly paid documentarian to follow the storylines in RC. I agree, but that costs money. That costs money to get people there. And by the way, Lucas, your Raw Nationals documentary was absolutely awesome. Go check it out on YouTube. It was one of the best. And your Fall Roll documentary was very good as well.
I agree. I watched the Fall Brawl one twice. It was really, really good. He has a unbelievable talent that he is not using to his full ability. So if you've not checked that out, you really need to go to the Beach RC page, and you need to see those documentaries that Lucas put together. He did a fantastic job.
Absolutely. What's up, Brady? How are you, man? Good to see you at AMS. Thank you for all the support you, Dwayne, and all the Pacific Northwest guys. Thank you for coming on and hanging out with us. We appreciate it. All right, Lance, I'm going to let you go.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for your time. I will see you in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
A little less than 2 weeks. Yeah. Right at 2 weeks. Yeah.
And tell Nugget I'll be back. Mopar and Bella like me. Nugget's still kind of on the fence of me.
Mopar's going to have some surgery tomorrow.
Oh, he's not going to be a happy dog after tomorrow.
No, he's not. He's going to go from a Mopar to a Moparis. Is that? He's going to be gilded, I guess is the best way to put it.
Oh my gosh, he's become a eunuch.
Yes.
Well,
no, I guess a eunuch gets rid of everything.
I know.
So he'll still have,
By the way, the Elite RC Productions definition of a good time during a race is chilling out in the camper watching Lord of the Rings. Not Lord of the Rings. My gosh.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. That is what we're doing. We're partying so hard at these races. We're sitting off watching Game of Thrones till we go sleep.
Yep, we do. That's how we unwind. We sit there and we're eating our dinner and we're watching Game of Thrones that we've all watched. I don't know how many times. So
absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well,
thanks,
I'll
buddy.
see you in a bit, and have fun down at Raja's race, and safe travels, my friend.
Yeah. Good night, everybody, and happy New Year, and good luck in 2024. And the Fullers are going to X-ray. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ooh, yeah. All right. So that's an argument we're gonna have here in a minute. But that's what we're gonna discuss in a minute. I think you're so wrong about that. Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
But
anything is possible if you can see through the X-ray. All right, Lance, get some sleep, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Agreed. Lucas does a great job at storytelling. Also, I love when Lucas is on the podcast. All right. So, thank you to Mike. Thank you to Lance for that time. Time to get into the nitty-gritty of Lefty Off the Record. Now it's time to take off the gloves, virtual gloves, going that way, and time to start talking RC. So, up first, I'm going to talk about my upcoming travels that I have coming up. That I know of. I am going to Beast of the East next week up in Lucama, North Carolina at World of RC. That should be good. It's going to be 8 scale and 10 scale. And then after that, it's to the Southern Indoor Championships in Alabama, which I've never been to. So that's going to be different. And of course, to the Florida RC Championships, round one at Dean's All Out. My cowboy hat, yeah, maybe I should wear it. That's a good idea. Hold on. I don't need these, so. It's still not formed to my head. All right, I'm going to put this full screen too. All righty then. We are on. I should probably take this stuff off, like no sponsors. All right. So then, of course, FRCC round one. And then actually, I am going to, on Easter in March, I'm going to International Buggy Challenge in Portugal. And then I'm staying for the e-Buggy World Cup. So in case you guys didn't know what the e-Buggy World Cup is, before you can have a world championship, you have to have a World Cup. So they're having a World Cup. RC Racing TV is doing the coverage, and I'm staying in Portugal, which I really enjoy my time in Portugal. And I'm staying there to hang out and do that. I don't think it's going to be well attended. I think we'll have some pros there. We have some people that go to the International Buggy Challenge and some people that don't. But I think it's, a start. And then in 2025, they'll have the e-Buggy World Championships at the Barcelos track in Portugal. And then I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to DNC. I have no plans to go to DNC. There's some talk about me going to South Africa. And then I think from March on, we can we'll talk about that. Don't worry, because I know that's the grand statement that everybody thinks Mayako is not going to last. And I think Mayako did everything that they had to do to last by getting rid, by not having to pay out a whole bunch of money. The question would be, is HB going to last? So let's get back to that. I said after the e-Buggy World Cup, I think I have the North Georgia Shootout, stuff like that, and all that type of stuff. So we shall see. We shall see. I was supposed to actually, speaking of you, Lucas, I was actually supposed to meet up with Brent. He was down in Dominican Republic yesterday on his vacation. But I told him, I said, dude, they're going to put you on so many excursions, we're not even going to have time. And so sad, so done. All right, so let's talk about silly season real quick before we get on. Kyle McBride to Kyosho. This was a bit of a surprise to me because I thought that Kyle McBride was kind of done. Here's my thoughts on this. If Kyle McBride travels around Asia racing the Kyosho car, then it's a good move. If he just stays in Australia and does nothing like he's done with Techno and S-Works, then it's a waste. Do I think he's getting paid? No, probably not. Probably got free kits, probably got some travel budget. But if he doesn't go around traveling around Asia at least, and then maybe go to some races in America or Europe if possible, then it's not really going to mean anything, in my opinion. You guys, I will answer questions in a bit. So, Austin, I will tell you, this shocked me. So I was off for a few days, so I didn't even realize that. So a lot of people may not know David Austin, but I've known him from when he was a very young kid. And he's about 18, 19 now. He joined S-Works last year from Techno. He's a very good regional driver. He can make, I don't agree with you, Oscar Painter. Kyosho is no longer in comeback mode. They're still on a comeback mode, but I think Kyosho will be one of the hot cars next year. They still have a lot to build in America, but they are building. That is for sure. What's up, Roy Harla? How are you? So Olsen to HB. A lot of you guys may not know David Olsen because he's a Southeast racer. I was shocked when I saw that he announced that he's racing for HB today. I was like, wow, he wasn't like a S-Works regional manager and all that type of stuff. David Olsen and his father put in a lot of hard work. Actually, Lucas he was part of Lucas's documentary from Fall Brawl. So, I don't know. I saw him at Fall Brawl, kind of eyeing the Kyosho, talking to lots a lot. And I kind of, when you see stuff like that, you kind of know something's up. So he kind of, I actually have a rant about this, Lucas, so don't go anywhere. kind of shocked that he left S-Works. Just as Spencer Heckert, kind of shocked that he left S-Works too. Because Heckert was kind of come and go. You know, one day he'd be good, one day he'd be bad. I still think Heckert's best performances on HB, and I think that's where he's going to end up, going back to HB, because he's really good friends with Cole Ogden. I don't know what his deal was with S-Works. I heard that he only got this, heard that he got that. Look, majority of the time when people leave these situations is because of the deal. They got a better deal, you know, or whatever. So that's what it comes down to. Heckert wanted to join a team with Mayfield. Where is he going to fit on in Techno? Where? They have Wiggins, Seth Van Dalen, Joey Bardon, all these young guys. Where? I have a feeling that he's going back to HB. That's where he was the best. Like, Heckert was really good at HB before he left to go to S-Works. I'm just being honest. Not saying that he wasn't good at S-Works, but he was good at HB. But yeah, David Olsen to HB kind of shocked me. That was probably one of the most shocking things I saw in silly season this week. Tebow, hot race manager, no more Mayako. Not shocked at this. I knew from the first month that Tebow probably wasn't going to last in Mayako. I'm going to say something to you guys. Being a team manager is one of the hardest fucking things in RC to do. Being a team manager of a chassis company is the hardest thing to do. Because a chassis isn't as disposable as tires. A chassis isn't disposable as engines. A chassis isn't disposable as lipo batteries. Stuff like that. So being a chassis manufacturer team manager is very hard. Being a tire team manager, being an engine team manager, all that type of stuff is a little bit easier because that all stuff is disposable when you sell multiple amounts of that. And people really want to get a deal in there so they can, you know, people use a lot of tires. People go through maybe 2-3 engines a year, but they do not go through multiple chassis a year. They go through parts, but not multiple chassis. I think hot race was a natural transition for Tebow because he's been selling the things, selling the tires. I know A-Main selling them. I like hot race. Nicola's a good friend of mine. He's a big supporter of the podcast. So I think it'll be all right. We'll see how it does. Not everybody has a team manager mentality. And with that said, I'll be right back. All right. Absolutely. So I had like a couple beers before I started her, so it's all coming out now. Dead air. Yes. When I have a couple of beers, I have to pee. So I think he'd be all right at hot race. You know, being a team manager of tires and engines is a little bit easier than being a chassis manufacturer. I know. Ask me how I know. I've been a chassis manager. So our next up is just had to spill. That's funny, dear Jenkins. Cavallari to Sparco. This seems to be the thing. Sparco, one of those brands that I think are making a big push at the end of this year. I think they're gonna be a popular car next year. I mean, they're popular without even having any. Okay, yeah, they have Tyler Jones. He did well at the North Georgia Shootout, Georgia Peach State Classic with it. Sorry, and yeah, you'll see with Cav on it. Everybody's like, Cav's done. I don't think so. Cav finished 5th at Wicked Weekend the last time he was there, and he's been doing good in 10 scale. Do not count out the goat. Paul Rodman says, I don't have any black rum, but I'm having a Jack and Coke right here. Still in the Christmas spirits. So let's get down to what everybody wants to know. Where are the Fullers going? Well, so I swear it on, I thought that they were going X-Ray at first. Then there's a possibility of going Mugen. But I agree with you, Charlie McKenzie. They have no money, but they have, when you deal with Cavallari, you got to pay. You know, because Lefty the Sheriff is in her. Lance says X-Ray. I was talking to an X-Ray guy recently, and when I mentioned in the Fuller's name, he just smiled like this. But I have, with good, my sources tell me that it's S-Works. Now, if Hackard going, Tanner Danny, believe it or not, Tanner Danny still ran for S-Works. And somehow I heard he was even getting paid, even though he didn't race at all this year, maybe raced twice. So he's going, and Hackard's going. You got Rose, Camden, and Bornhorse. Now you're gonna have the Fullers in there. I think, yeah. Let's see how they do in a pillow bowl car. X-Ray though, still a possibility, but I'm pretty sure it's S-Works. So Fullers to S-Works. I'm pretty 100% sure about that. All right. I did see that. I saw that, Brian Eder. You bring up a good point. Clinic RC says, not X-Ray. X-Ray will require them to run FX engines. Well, yes, they try to do that with Marco Barufalo, and generally X-Ray people have to run that, but Ronald still running his Corsa Tech engines, from what I know. The Walkers did not go to S-Works. They are running for Rockstar Hobbies and running Kyosho cars. So, this her, JV, what's up, JV? I got $10 on Tyrone going to Hong Nor. So, you know what? I see that HRCR, Brian Eder, is now doing Hong Nor cars. So, if you guys don't know who Hong Nor is, it's like when Offner was around, it was Offner. They had the Hyper 7 cars, which is Hobao, and they had the Hong Nor cars, which was like I can't remember, like Hong Nor 9.5 or something like that. Like the I can't remember what it was. But eventually Hong Nor car became the Jammin car, which was a great platform built by Jammin J, right? And all that type of stuff. And also Hong Nor makes the iGT8, which is a great GT car. In fact, I believe Hong Nor might have just won the GT World Championship. So if you guys don't know what GT is basically the owner version of buggy, nitro buggy. It's a nitro buggy converted to an on-road car, even though they're getting more like touring cars. So I don't know, but part of my rant is with Ty. So hold on. Speaking of Ty, we'll talk about Ty. I don't know what's going to happen to Ty. I keep hearing he's going to retire. I mean, he likes cowboy hats like me. He's a Canadian cowboy up there in Calgary. I heard he might retire. If he doesn't retire, he might have a full-time job and then drive on his side, you know? So we'll see. Everybody keeps saying Mugen. This is what Mugen said to Ty Tessman. I heard this from Gord's mouth at AMS. This is what they said. Mugen goes, we didn't see an increase in sales when Ryan Mayfield came on the team, and we didn't see a decrease in sales when he left the team. Mugen doesn't need to sign. They will at some point need to sign somebody that can win, but right now they don't have to. Come on, Tyrone can't retire. Absolutely, he can retire. Absolutely, retire. Don't worry, we're going to get into that rant. All right, so before we go on to that's good and bad. What are we talking about? Clinic, are we talking about the Tyrone, Mugen not making a difference? Ryan Mayfield not making a difference when he came on and coming off and leaving? That is good and bad. I have to agree with you, Walter Carpenter. Where are you? Walter Carpenter says, I love the Jammin Truggy. I did too. It was a great piece of kit. I love the jamming whole platform, to be honest. All right. It's Charlie Mack, the original Bruggener, it's going to be very hard for DeMarco to identify the hack bodies drivers with different chassis. All right, so let's talk about this. The HB heat wave, kind of not as hot as it was with the Fullers leaving, with Little Bump leading, all this type of stuff. But they're also picking up a lot of regional drivers. They just picked up Olsen. They're probably going to get Hackard. I see various other people signing with them. But at the same time, I heard from people around the world how hard it is to get parts, how hard it is to get kits, all this type of stuff. You know, what deals are these guys getting? Why did David Olsen leave S-Works? What deal did HB give him? We know that HB didn't pay Fullers, didn't pay Little Bump the money that they needed. And in terms of $18,000 I'm hearing to the Fullers. Not sure about Little Bump. So, you know, there is nobody else going to the K car in America. I already asked Ryan Lutz this at Full Bro. Little Bump is it. That's Kyosho America. Where is Cole going to go? Well, as far as I know, Cole's still running HB. So Max said it right on the podcast. He says, I don't think HB is dead yet, but he gives him another year. I actually give him 2 years. Do you know how hard it is to sell chassis in a market that's inundated, flooded with chassis? That's why I like Sparko. And shout out to my boy Clinic RC because they're now carrying the Sparko buggy. But that car has amazed people with very minimal. The marketing strategy has been good, but it's been very minimal. They have no real pro drivers signed, but still people are intrigued with the Sparko buggy. I'm intrigued with the Sparko buggy. I looked at my buddy James Johnson and he showed me a picture of the battery, where the battery shit goes, the battery, oh good Lord, the battery box. And it has a transponder mount inside there. I was like, that's brilliant. That's actually brilliant. That's actually brilliant. Yeah, exactly, Charlie Mack. The Sparker radio trailer alone. I was like, whew. When I saw that picture this morning, I was like, ooh, that's good. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I think Sparko is going to be one of the cars to watch out for next year. Let's talk about Mayako. So everybody thinks Mayako is dead. Go on. Death Dagger, I heard. You know? Well, guess what? Yeah, Ronald Falks left. That's probably the biggest blow, I would say, to Mayako was Ronald Falk leaving. But that has a history. That started back in DNC. Tebow leaving, that was always going to happen. His retiring. You know? Whatever. He's going to be a hot race manager. He's got to go where he has to make a living. Right? I think Mayako will be fine. From what I heard, they need to get their e-buggy out and to get their truck again, the e-truck again. So they'll focus on what they got to do. Talking to JQ, they're going to go back to doing the grassroots stuff, do whatever they have to do. That's on them, but they're not dead. There'll be other companies dead before them. So I said it. Yeah, biggest issue for me is difficulty in supply. They have not had kits for sale this year. They're still trying to get the e-buggy out. So they still got to work on that. Yeah, Max Mort's designing truck. There were like 5 Mayako truckers at AMS. 5. Maybe that's an exaggeration. I know Robert was racing one. Trent was racing one. Raymond was racing one. All that type of stuff. And these are chassis built around other cars. But the production side is going to be the production side is going to be different when they do that stuff. All right, let's take a question from Kevin Cass. Hey, Keenan, why do I see companies come out with cool parts for other cars like Sparko, but nothing for the Mayako? Companies don't even make different bodies for it because they're not selling enough of them. See, what you guys don't see, I think also that one of the things with Mayako is that it's all hidden in the Discord. Like they're not really big on Facebook, all that type of stuff. So they're still building. They need to get their e-buggy out and then get all the rest of their cars out. That's it. You know what? This is what I told JQ. I said, Mayako needs to focus on getting their e-buggy out, their truggy, and their e-truggy out. Get 4 cars on the market. Then start worrying about it. RC Jurors, Sparko is a secret weapon, very detailed car. Yes, you have one. I've seen he's up from the Northeast. A lot of these HB loyalists that were HB guys are now all running Sparko up in the Northeast. That car has emitted interest from the start that it got. That is from the start. And I have to think it's because of the name. The first thing was the name, Sparkly Sparko. Ryan K, we have a mag rake for Mayako and Tassin. I know, my buddy. So let's talk about that. That's actually a good thing because my buddy Axel has been a big petitioner for this. He likes it. I met the guy, I believe this is him, Ryan, at Mag Break at Silver State last year. And I got to watch Axel drive his car at AMS recently, and that was really good. The mag brake system was really good. So it might be something to look at in the future. Electronic brakes. So exactly. I was assured the e-buggy would be out 1.5 years ago. Well, it happens. It ain't out. What am I supposed to do? I was assured I'd be $1 million in RC by now. I should have started with $2 million. All right. We got a bunch of comments coming in here about Sparko. The original Bruggener, he won't be getting a Sparko till they got a Truggy. So the Sparko Formula 8 is a hell of a name. It sounds like an actual racing series. Pretty good, I would say. So the Sparko looked like Paul Rodman, the Sparko looked like a very tough built car. All the cars that Endino are tough, even Mayako, Kyosho, and so on. Techno as well. Ryan K says mag brake will be at Silver State. Dude, I watched Axel's car at AMS, and his car was good on the brakes. It was really good. Really good. Good question, Kavakasa. I haven't seen anything online for mag brake system in 2 years. How is anyone supposed to know about it if no one from the company is saying something? Well, there's the guy right there, Ryan. I believe that's him. He's saying something about it. But I'm telling you, I actually saw these in the real world on the Mayako, on Axel's Mayako at AMS. And Axel isn't some top driver. He's just a regular driver. And I turned him. I said, your brakes look good out there. Your brakes look good out there. All right. So let's finish off silly season. So we talked about McBride. We talked about, if you have a link for mag brakes, please put them in the chat here, anybody, so people can find out. We talked about Olsen to HB, Heckert out to HB, Fullers to SRX, Tebow. You know what? We'll save Ty Tasman for my final rant. Let's talk about a little fact. This is a fact. This isn't feelings. You know what? I noticed that nobody's given us a super chat today. If you want to help, give us a super chat. This podcast, I need to buy some more drink. I like a super chat if that's possible. I noticed a little fact posted by Ifmar the other day. You know, Ifmar? You know, the actual really functioning federation over there in Europe that's been functioning for a while, even though it has its problems. The Europeans currently hold 8 out of the 10 Ifmar World Championships that are out there. Think about that. Let that sink in for a second while I post up this question. Lance says, I think I've had too much. Nah. Ryan K, we have been perfecting a few things. It's a brand new technology. We don't want to release it till it's 100%. We recently developed the split bulkhead and the wireless feature. Oh, so this is the guy from MagBreak that I met. So they have been working on it. I think it's going to be revolutionary. You know what? When he gets it ready, we're going to have him on the podcast. So let's talk about that. Why is everybody going quiet? Nobody's really talking about that. The Europeans hold 8 out of the 10 world championships out there. So this started a little bit of thing. So there's only 3 off-road world championships right now. There's 1/8 scale and the 210 scale. All the rest are like on-road. Now, we know that on-road isn't that big in America anymore. No, they almost had a 12 scale American world. You know what? That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Brady. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for that awesome super chat. It's the last Lefty Off The Record of the year, and he just gave me an awesome super chat. Thank you, Brady. Hopefully see you again. Hopefully up in the Pacific Northwest. And thank you, Joe Jenkins, for that $4.99. The beers will stay cold in freezing temperatures at SIC. Yes, they will. So back to the whole World Championship thing. It's so many on-road World Championships. So let's see. Who's the 3 people that have the off-road championships we have? Oh, David Angara has 8 scale. He has 10 scale 4-wheel drive, and Tater has 10 scale 2-wheel drive. So that's 3 out of 10. So there's 7 on-road world championships. Something's wrong there. We need more off-road world championships. E-buggy's coming up, which is great. Oh my goodness. We've got super chats coming in out of the yin yang. Thank you, Blake Baker. I appreciate that. What's up, Matt Olson? Also, great work to you, man. Always. I was watching Tim Lyons race, US Open. Man, that track will look hard. I would have done a million flips on that track. Thank you, Oscar Painter. I support your P brakes. Thank you very much. Oh, yes, Romel. I think this is Philippine Pacers. Awesome. A bottle of Red Horse. Very deadly beer. Don't drink too many of them. I know. I drank them in Abu Dhabi. Lance MacDonald says, I would send money, but then he spent it all. Yeah, on his Teradex and cameras. But thank you, Lance. You helped me. Thank you all for the super chats. I greatly appreciate that. It helps us out. Donnie's dad, thank you. This is like Christmas coming early. Thank you, Donnie's dad. His son's awesome. His son snatched the mic out of my hand at an interview at the races. It's his thing now. This is like, give me that microphone. But awesome. And Thomas Kitchens, congratulations, buddy. Good friend of mine from Texas. He has a cowboy hat too in his picture. Thank you very much, everybody, for the super chats. This is going to be an awesome good evening, Tommy Lavasi, all that type of stuff. But let's get back to the topic. Thank you, Thomas Kitchens. I appreciate it. Congratulations on your new signing. Paul Rodman says, it's embarrassing, really. Europeans are kicking our asses for a while. And when they come over here, they do very well too. Sad but true for the Americans. This is true. But I will say this. In on-road, it's kind of lopsided. There hasn't really been too many good on-road guys for a long time. It's kind of coming back. We almost had a 12-scale American world champion with Kemp Anderson at the recent 12-scale Worlds. He was so close, but it didn't happen. And it's only 3 off-road. Now, in next year, in 2025, there will be an e-buggy off-road world championships, which is great. I almost want to say there should be a truggy world championships, but I think it should be an e-truggy. So it's just not as many classes, right? But it also goes, it's an attestament to the Europeans. I think that the Europeans maybe just treat RC more like a sport than just a hobby. But you know what? It is what it is. You got to catch them up. That's it. At the end of the day, it's still just one race. We have a Worlds coming up next year. It's another chance for everybody to be on a fresh slate in Brazil and do well, which actually segues into my next topic, which is, oh man, we got people more. Thank you, Pro Star, Mag Brake Kevlar Towers. There we go. So when he gets his stuff going, we will get Mag Brake on her, because I'm telling you, this stuff is revolutionary. Thank you, Ryan K. And thank you, Lucas. People want you back on the podcast, Lucas. We got to have you back on. Tommy says, I agree. Europeans consider all RC as a sport, not as a hobby. Yes. RC is a sport, in my opinion. And I appreciate it. Thank you all for the super chats. It's great. Don't forget to go over and check out Lucas's documentaries and all this. He hasn't done any work. He hasn't done any videos for a while because he got burnt out on it. I know how he feels. But you should go check out what he done because it's awesome. His voiceover is so good, I thought he got AI to do it. That's how good it was. In off-road, Americans are equal. I think Americans, Europeans are equal. You go over there, it's hard to beat them. They come over here, they can win sometimes. They don't win all the time. Like AMS, he was very fast. Juan Carlos Canales was very fast. I thought he was going to win, but Ryan Mayfield kicked his ass in the end, right? The issue is they also have a very functioning old governing body that helps them. So that's what makes a big difference. And also you got to understand there's many different countries. So every country in Europe has their own federation that as well. And those federations all adhere to the Ifmar federations. And then even, for instance, like in the Scandinavian countries, RC is considered part of the motorsports. So the RC is up there. Like they have a end of year, like award ceremony where they give these drivers like different people from all different sports, and RC is included in that. So these guys get dressed up in tuxedos. They get medals. Max has won one. Pecco has won one, and all that stuff. So it is what it is. It's just the mentality to it. They also don't race as many classes as America. They race nitro buggy and probably e-buggy. Very, very, very close. All right, let's look at some questions. Joe Jenkins says, what sucks is being local to one of the nicest tracks in America and it's only open on Friday and Saturday. He's actually at Thornhill, which is awesome. Matthew Olson, European tracks usually stay the same, so hard to beat someone that knows the track, though not all the cases, but most. I would agree to that to a point. At the end of the day, you're still a pro driver. You still have to go race. So on the flip side of that would be the Europeans coming over racing at night under lights and stuff like that. They don't do that on a completely different track that they ain't used to. Ryan K says, we are very close, just buttoning up a few things. Brakes are perfect. App is out, just finishing up the bulkheads and wireless update for all the brand models. So there you guys go. That mag brake stuff is on the cusp of being released. Actually, like I said, I saw my buddy Axel using them and they look very good. And being as well on the European American thing, EKJ 24,000, left tire salute. I got a question. Why are Americans scared to race in Europe when Tebow won 7 Neo buggies? What changed? Well, I will say this. He won 6. Neo buggies was on a different track every year. So it was a purpose-built track inside of a building every year. So it was a fresh track for everybody. I would agree with that. It was also a very American-style track. Super crossy because it wasn't big. So lots of 180s, lots of jumps. You know, stuff like that. A lot of European tracks are big with lots of corner speed. Look at Redovon. Redovon is huge. The amount of corner speed those guys are carrying through those races, those tracks, those corners is amazing. I will say this. Jumps are fun, but they're easy to do, easy to master. Corner speed wins races. Coming from Greg Degani. All right, so we're going to move on from that because we've beat that horse to death on that. I would like to see more Europeans go over to America. I'm sorry. I would like to see, I'm all for the Europeans coming over to American race. I would like to see that replicated with more Americans going over to Europe. But it's about budget too and about time. So I wanted to do something real quick. Exactly. Tons of races here in the U.S. less travel costs, hard to justify for a lot of American countries. That's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, bottom line is money. Paul Robbins says, everyone forgets lots of ones won against the true current champion Ongaro and beat him straight up with the Agama and Bolimeter. He did. He did beat him. That was a great race at the last DRC. But that same year at Montpellier, Lutz didn't make it out of the quarterfinals, which was a big race in France. Oh, hold on. Joe Jenkins sent another super chat. Petition to ban off-camber corners and crossovers. I don't mind off-camber corners. Crossovers are dangerous. I am not a big fan of crossovers. I am not. I think they're very dangerous. Very dangerous. Unless you're jumping like 20 feet above somebody. But if you're jumping like anywhere that it can hit somebody, it's very dangerous. Very dangerous. Thank you, Joe Jenkins. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. We've had quite a few. Let's see. We've had quite a few. All right. So I kind of wanted to do something the best of for 2023. So I wanted to get you guys' opinions on this. Who was, in your opinion, the best 1/8 scale driver in USA? Let's see what you guys say in the chat. Then we're going to go to European driver after that. So who do you think was the best USA driver this year? 1/8 scale only. Walter Carpenter says Fend. Yeah. Ramel says Fend. So that's two Fends. D70, what's up? Says Fend. Clinic says Ryan Mayfield. Joe Jenkins says Mayfield. Marquise Butler says Lutz. Oscar says Fend. Donnie, he had the most fun, says Donnie's dad. I agree. Paul Rodman says Fend. Salty Joe says Cavallari. What the? Come on. Mike Fuller. How you swarking over there, Mike Fuller, building that new wrench room? He says Fend. Jonah Wilson, he's going to come up in a bit. That's tough. Ryan Mayfield. Ryan Gambler says Fend the first half of their toss up. After that, I could live with that. Thomas Kitchen says Fend. Badland says Fend. Paul Rodman says Degani for the diabetes class. Walter says, I believe Mayfield will leave when his deal is up. Not if he's getting paid. Ben Humphrey says Mayfield. Edsy. So it's a cross between Mayfield and Fend. I would say that Fend won the national championship. So, and I don't know how many 8-scale races they won where they at, but I think Fend won more. So I would say this year it was definitely Fend, but it's very close because I would say that Mayfield ground out a lot of wins this year. And after that, what I saw him do at AMS was probably the best I'm seeing Mayfield run all year. Like where he was confident, like he was back on Mugen. So what I saw at AMS and what I saw from Fend, who was still trying to catch him, but made so many mistakes, I would say that Fend was the best this year, but going into 2024, Mayfield is on a better is how can I what's the word I'm looking for? Like a better mind state, I would say. Because what I saw him do at AMS was impressive. Yeah, I would say Fend was the best 8-scale racer this year. Best 8-scale racer. trajectory. There we go, Oscar. He's on the best trajectory going into 2024, in my opinion. Ryan Mayfield is. After when I saw Mayfield race a couple of races this year, I saw him at Wicked Weekend. I saw him at Wicked Weekend. I saw him at the Nationals. I saw him at DNC. He won DNC, but he kind of ground that out. At the Nationals, he didn't look sharp at all. He looked like he was hanging on. And then at AM Wicked Weekend, he kind of wasn't really there. And then at AMS, though, he was there. Like in that main, he was hounding Fuller, and he said that was the best techno he's had all year. Yeah, I said Ryan won DNC, but he kind of grounded out. It was a battle between him and Fend. All right, best European driver 8 scale of the year. I think this is hands down Juan Jose Canas. Close in second for me is actually Elliott Boots. Corey says Fend lost it after Barry left. You know what? It is no coincidence that after Barry left, Fend did not do well. Yeah, I have to say JC3, best European driver this year. Man, if you guys didn't watch the IBC race where he beat Ongaro, it's fucking probably one of the best races I saw this year. It was amazing. Don't get me wrong, Canas did Ongaro did well this year as well. But Canas was just but then I can say again, in his second half of the year, after the European Championships, Canas didn't win as much. But I think one of the best, I would give Boots the second half of 2023, he rejuvenated his career. So, and Ongaro was good, but he wasn't as good as Ongaro. Look at me wrong, Ongaro won a world championship in 10 scale. But JC3, Ongaro is a world champion in 2023. We're talking about 8 scale. 8 scale this year. Juan Carlos Canas, Elliott Boots second. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Lance MacDonald says Max Smart. Too funny. All right. Continue with our best of 2023 most surprising driver of this year. Now, that could be any level. Jonah Wilson surprised me a lot this year. Come the line too, but I think Jonah Wilson had better finishes. So Jonah Wilson came to my attention at North Georgia Shootout this year. And he was given who was at North Georgia Shootout, Lance? Was it Aiden Horn? Cole was there, and somebody else was there. 8 scale. Charlie Mack. 8 scale. So that doesn't count. So Brian says Camden Line. Mark Anthony says Tramal Lobo. Owen Simmons says me. McBride come back with Kyosho. Nah, don't think so. Tater says Donnie. Ty Tessman, but not in a good way. Wiggins says Walter Carpenter. Yes, Ryan K. I know that Robert Battier has requested a mag break. Yes, it was Horn and Ogden. He was given Horn and Ogden fits at North Georgia Shootout. And I was like, man, who's this kid? And he's only 16. That young man is very good. Very good. Clinic says little bump. Charlie Mack says little bump. Okay. I can't argue with a lot of those things. Nick Salto says Jay Bless first and Ongaro in second. All right. So, okay. We're mixed on that. Some people say Jonah Wilson. The question was Journey Lavasi, who was the most surprising driver of the year? Who surprised you? Surprised you? I guess we should say pleasantly. We'll say who was the biggest flop of the year after that. I guess we'll say who was the biggest disappointment of 2023 for you guys. Okay, Tommy says Little Bump. JQ and 40 plus. So who was the biggest disappointing driver? We'll keep it to pro level. Let's keep it to pro level to make it easier. What's up, C-Line? He says Little Bump after second at Silver State. I wasn't surprised at this. Yeah, I was surprised at the second. Oscar Painter says Tyrone. Nick, which is Ty Tessman. Cavallari, which sucks. Okay. Nick Saltar says J Bless. I would say for me personally was Ronafalk. I think his results weren't good this year. Charles McKenzie says Cole let me down. Pecco at AMS. Yeah, I was surprised. Pecco is better than what he was at AMS. I'll give him that. Barufalo. Kimo says Barufalo to WRC. Ken Cahoon says the Viking were the most disappointing. I would say that. Ty or David R says Thomas Kitchens. Donnie's dad says Ogden has struggled after 2022 Worlds. He has not been the same. He wanted that Worlds win bad. I think it's been the same. His 2022 isn't too much different than 2023. I say that I think Cole is probably one of the most talented drivers out there. Tessman, Tebow? I think Tebow had a decent year. Tebow, in my opinion, at the Nationals, probably should have finished second. Absolutely. I let everybody know in 21-5. Epic fail. Lance up there making me nervous. All right, so Ronafalk, Tessman, some T-Buzz. Okay, that's okay. All right, next up. Best race to the end of the year. Not the best race. This is an in Nitro. Well, I guess we can say best finish. Best finish of the year in any class. I have Canas versus Angara at IBC and Fend Pippin Van Dalen on the very last lap of Wicked Weekend. Chemo says JCC versus Ongaro. I would say that. I did not start shaking in tech. Dan Jones says JC3 IBC. Yep, that was a damn good race. Little Bump and Joe. I don't remember that race. That was 2022. If you're talking about E-Truggy. Paul Robbins says Tyler Jones at Peach State. Okay. I wouldn't agree with that. Owen Simmons says Wicked Weekend. That was a good finish. I have to admit, that was a damn good finish. I'm tossed up, but I think excuse me. Lyman Hackett at Pro-Am was good. Hackett was very good at Pro-Am. I think JC3, Mayfield and Lutz. I don't even remember that race. You got to say the race as well. I think for me, personally, in 2023, Orlowski and Bruno, not really. Reds race fun. What Reds race are you talking about? Ooh, Very good. Very good. Very good, Charlie Mack. At Gusago, the Reds race, that was very controversial. I agree with you there. Ooh, thank you. I forgot all about that. Very good, Charlie Mack. Very good. Where they robbed Boots. They robbed Boots of a victory. What tire change did I miss? What did I miss? Was I at this race? The tire change was epic. I'm into so many races, I forgot. I would have to agree, Charlie Mack. That's in my top 3. I would say Little Bump and Marco was good too at Silver State. What truggy race are you talking about, Walter Carpenter? I didn't watch that. So I'm sorry. I'm thinking about like majority big races, really big races where all the pros were there, where it came on to the last minute, last few seconds. Okay, sorry, I didn't watch the truggy race, the US Open race. I do apologize. But for me personally, IBC, Wicked Weekend, I mean, when Dakota, when they were coming, like, so when Canas caught up, like, I thought Ongaro had won it. And then I'm like, is that Canas? Is that Canas? And then he came up. What's up, Robert Masco? How are you? And when he came up and then they had that battle at the end, that was epic. When Fend and Vandela went to that rumble section at Wicked Weekend, and Vandela was kicking ass the whole time, and then just kind of messed up on that last bit. I was just like, what the hell? That was what I mean by close race. U.S. National Truggy ran Fens, Endenberg, Mayfield passed him. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. I don't think none of this, in my personal opinion, I think none of this is as epic as those two races. And then the finish at the Reds race between Boots and that whole race was epic. So, all right, I could agree with someone. I did not see the truggy tire change at the U.S. Open, so I cannot commentate. I cannot comment on that. All right, best brand growth of 2023. Who do you guys think that goes to? I have to say S-Works in America. S-Works as a brand period, because I think that Canas and Boots are testament to that carb, that package being good. I would have to say Kyosho as well. Kyosho was very impressive in 2023. S-Works. I would say S-Works. I wouldn't dispute that either, Derek Vanderham. He says yes, because they gave everyone an Mama deal. Yeah, they did. They did. But they haven't done anything that any other brand hasn't done. They haven't done anything any other brand's done. Guys slid on the super chats. Bless. I think you should give me a super chat just because you're Jay Bless and you can do it. I mean, I don't think that WRC did any brand growth. They signed Marco Barufalo. That's it. They went through a big mess in America over what their brand was going to be. That's not growth. I'm sorry. I can't give you a plug. So Tommy Levessi says, Ryan made a full 4-tire change pit during pit stop and went, I believe, 4 places down and drove back to win at the U.S. Open Field Champs. That's all good and proper, but the only real competition at the U.S. Champs was Lutz and Mate and Camden. Whereas at IBC, you had some of the best in Europe, and at the Wicked Weekend, you had every best driver in America there. All right. Most improved driver of 2023. I actually don't have anybody for this. No, I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that the US that wasn't awesome. I'm just saying that, well, you're comparing, I'm talking about races where like all the talent were there. I agree with you. So who do you think is the most improved driver of the year? All right, so let's go. We have Lance MacDonald says Bornhorst. Brent Jackson says him. That's RC Body Armor. Check them out. D70 says B Rose. Lee Gray says Little Bump. Andrew Morales says Phi Long. Sean Bourne says him. Walter Carpenter likes Wiggins. Says Wiggins. Nuclear Crypto says Jonah Wilson. Chemo says Jonah Wilson. Little Bump. Daniel Parente. Daniel Wynn. Mad Maddie Long. Big shout out to her. She is probably one of the most impressive up and coming young racers that I've seen as well. Walter says Horn. Joe improved a lot from the start of the room. Tommy says B Rose. Who else do we have her? Mad Maddie says Thomas Kitchens. I would say that she improved a lot. That young lady drove a lot. This on a non-pro side, she was at Miss Bella. I think Mad Maddie is a little better than Miss Bella. Mad Maddie races a lot more bigger races than Bella Rogers. She just doesn't. She's not good at her interviews. Ben Humphrey says Van Dalen. I don't really have an improved driver. Walter Carpenter says Cameron Brew to Kyosho, but he doesn't race on a national level at all. Badland says Mad Maddie. Ooh, Mad Maddie got a lot of votes. Yeah, I don't have a bit most improved driver. Let me think about that for a second. Hold on. I don't know. That Brandon, I would say that Brandon finished more races this year. I always thought Brandon was good. I thought he finished more races this year. All right. So a lot of people say Brandon Rose, Mad Maddie, and Jonah Wilson is in that. I guess we're gonna have to give it to B Rose. Charlie Mack says DeMarco, only one flame out this year. DeMarco barely raced this year. Does that even count? Doesn't even count. All right. Quite a lot. Badlands, he says, how many times did you mention Mad Maddie's name this year? Quite a lot. Quite a lot. Quite a lot. Watch out for that young lady. She races a lot. Mike Fuller with points. Rose was 15 in points last year and 5th this year. So points don't lie. Rose had a good year. I would say that. He had a very good year. He was the best S-Works USA driver. So, yeah. He finished a lot more races. So, yeah, I think it's between B Rose, Julian Oliveras, maybe regionally. Yes, very good. So Blake Baker says Aiden Ridgway, Wilson Coward, Ryan Days, all fast and Maddie, but she is coming and killing it. Yeah, she is. But she has improved a lot. And Wilson needs to learn how to qualify better. We all know that. Wilson can do the bump game, but he cannot qualify for nothing. The Wilson needs to learn how to do better in qualifying. S-Works, Aiden Ridgway was very impressive too, but he also needs to run a little bit more national events. Ryan Daze, yeah, He was good at the Mark Moon races. Tommy Levency says SRX platform made B-Res have a damp. Yeah, I would agree with that. D70 says, Lefty, your son. My son impressed me at All Out when he went there. I would put Lee Setzer in there. Lee Setzer was very improved this year. Good runs. Good runs. Mason Templeman. In 10 scale, yes. He did good at Masters. But I think B-Rose. I think B-Rose. There's actually a bunch of young, fast Southeast racers coming up. They're all like, I would say 11 to 15 to 16. And they are very fast. You know what? I would agree with you here. Tyler Fenster actually did very good, Kevin Casson, in both 10 scale and 8 scale this year. I would give him a lot of credit. Mike Fuller, Wilson was 37 in 22 and 23rd in 23. Camden Line was good this year too. Camden Line was good this year. Why was Tebow such a letdown this year? I don't know. He was good at some races. He was good at a lot of races. Tebow got a top 5 at DNC. Didn't make the main at Silver State. Finished, what, 3rd at Nationals? I don't know. All right. Enough about that. 2023 is almost over. Let's start looking to 2024. Thank you, Kevin Stewart. I bought it in South Carolina. I didn't know Cowboys existed there. So it's a World's year coming up next year. World's in Brazil, Sao Paulo in September. Can't wait. Ooh, boy. Fresh canvas. I think they're going to have 2 warm-up races. So people don't have excuses. Who's you guys? Oh, I agree. So Blake's talking about Wilson. The Wilson hitter. Very fast. We need to figure out how we can qualify better so he doesn't have to bump up from the B-mans and all that stuff. So, but he's very fast. I'm telling you, right now in the Southeast, they have a plethora of fast young kids coming up. So, back to the Worlds. Do we know the style of track that will be in Brazil? Well, I think Davey Davison is going to build it. And I want to say it's going to be a little bit of, because he learned from Joey and he has his own style. And he built some of the best tracks I've seen. I think it's going to be a cross between American and European style on very red dirt clay. I've been to the track where it's going to be, so I know what the type of aggregate it's going to be. I think, like I said, it's going to be a blank slate for everybody. It's not going to be none of the bullshit about, oh, it's the same permanent track or this and that. It's going to be a blank slate. The only people that are going to have an advantage are going to be the Brazilians because they're going to be able to run on it. And I think that we're going to have that neutral track for everybody. I think it's going to be a great 2024 Worlds if people go. But who do you think is going to be good in 2024 besides the Worlds? I said Mayfield goes into 2024 on an upward trajectory. How will the Fullers adapt to the Swerks car? Well, thank you, Roach RC. And don't forget to check out Roach RC's YouTube channel. He's making great content. They're not running nitro cars. So, but thank you, Roach. Check out Roach RC on YouTube. He has some good stuff. Chemo says Little Bump. So here's my thing with Little Bump. He is fucking 13. I think he meant 13 this year. So he's going to 14 next year. He has plenty of time. He still has about 3 to 4 years before we start putting a lot of pressure on him. So it'd be interesting to see what he does. He has to learn a new car. Kaisha's a good car. He'd be all right. So we'll see. We shall see. So people want to see how Little Bump is going to do. Super interesting. Oscar Painter, super interesting to see how Little Bump does. Mayfield going into the second year of Techno looks to be on point. I couldn't agree with that. I do agree with that on Mayfield. I want to see what Fenn's going to do. That's going to be something because, I mean, in the second half of the year, Fenn did have some wins, but didn't look as dominant as he did in the first half. So it's going to be interesting. I think Angara on the European side, I think Angara is going to come up with a vengeance. I think Ronafalk too. I know Matrix is working on tires, but I think Boots, Canas, not Canas, are going to be good. I think I doubt Team Fuller. I think Fuller's going to be good. I think Cavallari is going to be good. That's Sparko. I think he's going to be good. That's going to be something to watch out for. And I don't disagree. I think B Rose is going to be good too on the S-Wax. I think it's going to be good. I think Sparko is going to be a very popular brand in 2024 because there's a lot of hype around it. And I think Cavallari is actually going to do very well with it. So Cavallari is going to do pretty good. His last big race was Wicked Weekend, and he finished fifth. He had switched from the to the TCO tires. And this has got to be Cav's last chance. Like, and when I say that, I mean, he's just running out of options, right? Just running out of options for chassis companies. So, yeah, we'll see. We will see. All right, I'm just watching. Hold on. Here's a question we got all the time. What is the likelihood of seeing a Pro Nitro Buggy A-Main live on ESP one day? Never. By the time I die, it won't be in my lifetime. I hope I live to be 100, but probably not going to. We have no product for that. We have no product. So that we have no product. We don't have a big billboard where you can see people. We don't have personalities in RC. We don't have anything. Roach RC, I don't really see Sparko lasting past 2025 in Revelance unless Cav does really well. They have nobody. And it's got more hype than most brands are on it. Nobody. Okay, they have Tyler Jones, but I don't think anybody's talked more about Sparko in this last year than any other brand. Charlie Mack says, I think I could get on ESPN Plus or one of the obscure sports like ESPN Ocho. Maybe. We don't even know who a pro racer is in RC anymore. So, yeah. Which brings me to my next brands to watch will be Kyosho, Sparko, S-Works. So I think S-Works trajectory is definitely going up, but I watch as brands go. So brands go as the deal goes. So everybody gets a deal for S-Works this year, the end of 2024. Then when people will want a better deal going to 2025, and then things drop down a little bit. It will be if S-Works can keep that momentum going. They'll go up to a high, they'll drop down a little bit, and then they have to keep that momentum level. But as for S-Works, this is the most I've seen the brand grow in America ever. And it's been in America for quite a long time. Well, with different distributors. So I just don't think that we'll see. Sparko getting a lot of brand recognition with nobody really on it. Lots of people that I know that HP are running Sparko now. We'll see. We'll see how things go when the car starts hitting the track at, on a regional level, on a national level, and all that type of stuff. Kyosho will grow. I think Kyosho is on that trajectory. Kyosho has legacy. Kyosho has that name, all that type of stuff. So once they get back up to that trajectory where they are, where they're going to be, they may not be on top, but they'll be near the top. Once they get back in that top 5 amount of brands at a racetrack, they'll maintain that level and go up from there if they keep it right. And that's because they have namesake in 8 bloody world championships behind them. So that's my thoughts. Oh, well, here's a great topic. Thank you, Matt Olson, because he's been on BattleBots. Being on BattleBots the last couple of years and looking at the blockchain, it's $100,000 an hour, and a lot of it is scripted except the fight outcome, and they are a year to year on if they got another year. Exactly. I always come back to this point. RCGP had a media day the first year, and companies didn't show up. RC racing has professionals that aren't using a professional way. And BattleBots, way more popular than what we do in RC racing. Marcus says, Pavitas and Jones will definitely help Sparko get. I don't think Jones is going to race that much. He's about to be married and have a kid. And Pavitas is in school. RC fan, here's a good question. Is there any blacks in this sport? There's a few, but no professional ones. The closest person of color to be a professional in RC racing, Paul Coleman. But there's definitely a lot more people of color racing now, especially in the Southeast, which is great to see. In fact, there's a young man named Toot Hollinsworth who's getting better and better every weekend out of Atlanta, Georgia. It is definitely RC is definitely starting to get more just people of all types, more Latins, more people, black people. I'm a mixed person myself. Eustace Moore, owner of MIP, but Toot is the one who's really been I've been noticing lately. He's like what? He's 11, same age as my son. Toot's doing very well. And then, of course, you can't forget Jay Bless up in the Northeast and Nick Saltal, Marcus Butler as well. So it's definitely a lot more people of color racing RC in RC. That's good to see. Just like we need to see more females racing. More RCs for everybody. It doesn't matter what color you are, what handicap you are, what race you are, what sexuality you are, anything. Anybody can do RC. You know, I'm a one-armed gimp and I can do RC. So it's definitely growing. And is everybody getting along at the tracks? But watch out for Toot Hollinsworth. He's coming. I say that because I watched him. I've been to a lot of races where he's there and all these young racers are at Southeast, and I watched them develop over the last year. So it's good to see. All right. So Kyosho Sparko S-Works. Here's my controversial question. E-Truggy will grow in 2024. Yep. I personally think that E-Truggy will overtake, it probably has, but I think E-Truggy will overtake Nitro Truggy. That's my thoughts again in 2025. You guys want to argue about that one? RC fan says, I feel Phylon made a stamp on E-Truggy after Silver State Pass. I don't tell you what, though, in the Southeast, E-Truggy is freaking popular. My lawyers have advised me not to talk much about Truggy issues, so I'm just going to call it Bruggy from now on. E-Bruggy. Mike Fuller says, I'm going to race E-Bruggy at some race, at a race in 2024. I actually want to E-Bruggy myself. That's what I want to race. I actually want to bring my son to race next year. So, Charlie Mack, that doesn't count as a super chat. You just said $4.99. All right. So, John Curtis, did JQ get his X-ray kit in? I know he was stoked on the design. Yeah, he got his touring car. I was talking to him the other day, and he goes, well, X-ray takes some. He said to me, I asked Hagberg and Coelho if X-ray would take some criticism. I want my own Mike Fuller. I want my own E-Truggy. My son wants to race Nitro Buggy, and I'm gonna build him one and bring it. The only problem is I can't pit him, so I have to have somebody pit for him, which Blake did. Blake did a good job. My son wants to race. He says not electric. He wants to race Nitro. I think I want to bring him Wicked Weekend again. All right. So I have a rant. Oh, hold on. We have a question. Lefty from Oscar Painter. Are there any impending nitro fuel limitations, regulations in Europe that may cause nitro to diminish relative to electric? So they do have so in Europe, they have a regulation about the percentage of nitro. You can run 16%. That's all you can buy, right? But it's not because of the environment. It's not because of anything like that. It's actually because of terrorism. I probably shouldn't say that word on YouTube, but it's because of terrorism. Apparently, when they arrested somebody that bombed something, apparently, they found a bottle of 25% nitro that he bought from a hobby shop there. I think it was in Spain, if I'm not mistaken properly. So it is not about the environment. It is more about a terrorist thing in Europe. But they have figured it out. People have been running 16% all year since last year and this year. So that's been all good. Blake Baker says, let me know and I will have it ready. Yes, I think so. I think so, Blake. We'll see. It is nonsense. Jay Blast. It isn't about the environment. It is about a terrorism thing, to be honest. All right, so my rant for this week is for this last Lefty Off the Record, because we are approaching, the end of silly season here, and we see everybody moving over and doing this and changing all this type of stuff. And look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. 99.9% of this is because of a better deal. Period. On a pro side, on an intermediate side, and all this type of stuff. No, that's fine. That's fine. Or maybe you don't feel like you're getting what you deserve at this brand. You're going over here, you're going over there, doing that, do all that type of stuff. Right? I have something to say to people right now. And RC, this is not good for RC as a whole. So everybody was asking about Tyrone Tessman. Right? On a pro side, I understand it's about money. You go where you get paid. Because that's your job. It's a pro job. I have now been working in the RC industry for 7 years. It's my job. This is what I do for full time. I do RC. It's a job. It's just like you going to work. It just happens to be, I happen to do it in RC. Right? Let's look at Ty Tessman right now. You know what? Let me take off these sponsors so I don't get them in trouble. Oh, let's look at Tyrone Tessman right now. Ty Tessman. He's the 2014 world champion. He made his first ever World Championship A-Man in 2008 at the age of 14. He has won countless national events, DNCs, Silver States. I may even think he's won a Neo Buggy. I might be wrong about that. He has finished top 3 in countless world championships. He has made a name for himself in the RC world. He is only 30 years old. And that man might not have a ride for next year where he can continue on. and be a paid professional RC driver. Just let that sink in. Let that sink in. All the accomplishments that man has accomplished in his life as an RC driver. He has literally traveled around the world doing RC. Think about that. Think about that. Just think about that for a quick second. Made a name for himself. World champion, national champion, DNC champion, all this type of stuff. Still at 30 years old. Yes, has he had the best last couple years? He's won. Oh, I would add, he is the 1/8 scale racer that has broken up the Dakota Fen and Mayfield dominance we've seen in 8 scale over the last 2 years. That man may not have a ride next year. May not have a ride. One of the best in the world. Probably not right now, probably, but still, that man could go to a world championship next year and probably still, that man finished what, 4th? Where did he finish at the Worlds? Last year. That man could go to the Worlds next year and still be a top 5 finisher. That man might not have a ride next year. But yeah, you got people out there that are in the C-main, B-main of national events, winning 100% deals and fucking travel money. But yet you got a guy with accomplishments like Ty Tasman who should get paid for doing what he does for a living, probably not having a ride next year. Let that sink in. Our industry is fucked. Think about that. Think about that. A guy still in the peak of his career, still got years left in his career, might be out. But yet, some guy in a C-man thinks he deserves travel money and fucking free shit. That's why RC is going down the drain. This on a professional level. No. Everybody says he could have a deal. No. We could go back to it's Ty and his dad. So let's get Gord out of the situation. Gord already said that he's not going to. He's out. He's going to get a real job and all that type of stuff. Right? That's fine. So here's Ty. Still not got a deal. Ooh, I think I sparked something with Clinic RC. Thank you, Clinic RC. Did you like that? If he chooses, this man has to get paid. That's his fucking job. See, we have to, no, I'm not getting mad at you, Thomas. Is that you guys have to separate this. 99.9% of us in this in this RC world, we go to these RC races. It's an escape from reality. It's all what we do. It's no different than going to play sports on the weekend or going to race go-karts or doing anything like that there, right? But this man, his job is he doesn't choose. It's not his choice. If he's not going to get paid, why should he stay? Would you stay and do a job that takes up all your time that you don't get paid for? So you got to separate that. You have to separate this, our love for doing the industry and our love for being there and doing all that type of stuff, which 99% of us do, to the 1% of guys that get paid to do this. Can he afford to do this? So but then you have people out there in the scene, man, at a national event that think they should get 100% deals and travel money. What's wrong with our industry? That's what's wrong with our industry. That is exactly what's wrong with our industry. Thomas, the reason he won't have a ride next year is because he won't get paid. Because nobody, look, we always said we're going to come to this point where our top pro driver is not going to have a ride next year. Right? And you're not, like, people are like, well, he could just go Mugen. Or he could go this. If you're not going to get paid a living salary, how can you dedicate your full time to being a pro driver? Let that sink in for a little bit. Let that sink in. Here we have a man who's still capable of winning any race out there. Devoted world champion, multi-time national champion, DNC winner, you name it, big races, he's won it. Podium, multiple world championships. At 30, out. This has happened before. Stephen Hartson won the 2013 four-wheel drive world championships out of RC 2 years later. Matt and Mark, well, Matt and the Francis brothers, world champions out of RC into the real world. But yet, that guy in the C-Man thinks he deserves travel money. And he deserves a 100% deal. Well, you know what? If you ain't making A-mains at national events on a regular, you don't deserve that. I said it, and that's how it's going to have to be. It's not wild. It's not wild. Because the industry is this whole sponsor everybody, this whole give everybody a deal. All that's eaten up, man. All that has to come. These drivers cost money. They cost travel money, especially Ty, because he came with Gord. But let's throw Gord out of the whole scenario. RC fan, who do you think cannot afford Ty? If he doesn't get a deal next year, RC fan, then nobody can afford him. Or they don't think he's worth it. Donnie's dad brings up one point that we all fail to realize. We have to have outside money pumping into RC to fix it. We can't have our outside money pumped into RC because we have no structure, no personality, no fucking nothing. JQ said it best. We are nerds in a field. And everybody in RC thinks they deserve the best when they don't. A lot of people didn't like what TLR done with their contingency thing and all that type of stuff. I loved it because it makes you work for your deal. Hey, we're going to give you 30%. But if you want to make some money, you got to do well. Imagine that. You got to do well to get more. You gotta do well to get more. Wow, that's how the real world works. You do well in your job, you get more. Exactly, Tommy Lavassi. I understand, and let's be honest, this hobby isn't growing enough to afford these drivers. Why isn't this hobby growing? Why? Because there's no collective movement from anybody in RC racing to promote RC racing on the true professionals in a true professional way. I say it and I'll say it again. We have professional RC racers in RC not being used in a professional way. We don't have any structure. We have no professionalism. We have no character. We have nothing. We have characters. We have Ryan Mayfield. We have Cole Ogdens. We have these guys. Don't get me wrong. It's getting better. Guys are being themselves. They're allowing people to do things more. But RC racing is fucking small. And everybody says they need the best deal. Are you worth the deal that you have? like I said, here's a man who's a world champion. He wasn't a world champion 20 years ago, almost 10 now. He won his world championship in 2014. He has podiumed. He podiumed 2016. He podiumed 2018. And he didn't podium 2022, but I think he finished top 5. Right? This man might be out of RC at 30 years old. Think about that. Think about that. But yet, Joe Blow, who finishes in his regional races in the pro class, #1, and is 55th at PMB or DNC in the pro class, doesn't go that deep. He needs travel. Nah, that's what's wrong with our hobby. That's what's wrong with our sport. All right, so we have some questions real quick. That's my rant going into 2024. Think about that. Charlie Mack, Carson Weinemont, or how it's spelled. Great job about left to pursue an actual career. Best these pros can hope for is past 30s to do like lots. Tebow Drake, start branding off real name and image. Ryan Mayfield, still fast. Still fast. And Carson Weinemont actually builds cars. He's like he did that. So he built off-road cars and all that stuff. He did that for his dad. So Brent Jackson, FP Racing was picked up on TV and millions spent to promote it, but it also has fallen off after 1 year. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so Tony will know this. Charlie Carson's dad is an icon in real off-road racing. It was inevitable. There you go. Tommy says, 100% agree, Lefty. I agree a ton. I think about how bad it is for us boat racers where there's absolutely no promotion, hardly no sponsors whatsoever, yet we wonder why we aren't growing. Yeah, boat racing and no young people in boat racing. That's why I'm trying to get to a race. Ryan K, RC racing feels a lot like BMX. I've done both. It exists, but not talked about much. But guess what? BMX is bigger than RC racing. D70 says, I think companies are seeing the pros cost more and they can bring in more profit and lower levels, regular hobbyists and bashers. I agree with that too. But at the end of the day, you're making race vehicles that are raced by other professional teams. At some point, you want to compete on that level. Just like, do you think that in motocross, let's use Formula One. Do you think that Ferrari winning in Formula One helps them sell more cars? Absolutely not. Motocross. Do you think people ride bikes because a certain person, but it's competition. Competition at the end of the day. We do compete, right? That's the mindset why we cannot go professional. That is the absolute mindset why we cannot go professional. That's why we can never be taken seriously, because we're too worried about our deals on a lower level. Don't get me wrong. Those people are very important. But guess what? There was a time in RC when deals didn't exist. Not everybody got a deal. You have to work for it. No, so here's the point. Nobody spends more money than intermediate racing. I think people don't base their brand loyalty off our pros run, but who's fast at our local track instead. You know why? Because there's not a lot of people racing. If more people were racing, that would mean more money coming into RC racing. But there is none, zero, zilch, nada, absolutely nothing, no effort from the RC industry, racing industry, to grow RC racing. They're too fucking worried about impressing these small group of people that are there and pilfering drivers from each team as they can. That's it. That is it. Instead of thinking big, But you know why people don't want more racers coming into RC? Because the more people that come into RC, the more insignificant that intermediate local pro becomes. His deal goes away. That's what it comes down to, man. The RC industry has made a great illusion of making everybody feel that they're important. Don't get me wrong. We're all important. RC is awesome. We can go race with these pro guys. We can do all this type of stuff with them. We can hang out with them. And that doesn't change. But I will tell you that not 99% of us don't have the ability that those pro guys had. The average Joes keep everything running, just like the average Joes in motocross go out there and buy motocross bikes and buy bikes from them. What's the difference? There is no difference. RC's fucking weird, man. It is a word conundrum. It is weird. If 100 people got into RC right now, if I could say, boom, here's 100 people in RC, it will make a difference in RC racing. If 100 people bought motorbikes, motocross bikes tomorrow, it would be a pissing in the ocean. You got what I'm saying? I'm not thinking of 1 or 2 people. I'm thinking hundreds, thousands of people. The bottom line is the industry manufacturers are too focused on trying to, here's a 25 peso coin, Dominican Republic. This is the pie. No, hold on. Here is, shut up, JQ, go away. I'm making a point. Go sleep. You know what? In fact, I'm banning JQ. He can't come in there. Here's the RC pie. This is a 5 peso coin, Dominican Republic. That's the pie in RC. Right now, that's split into so many slivers, there's not enough for everybody to eat. Some people eat more than the other. Right? That's 5 pesos. That's where 5 pesos. That's what we're fighting over right now. Here's 25 pesos. That's 5 times more than that. That's bigger, right? Much more of a bigger pie to eat. Much more of a bigger pie to eat from. It's only physics. If that gets bigger to this, it's more for everybody. JQ, shut up. He should be asleep. Oh shit, it's 12 o'clock. I didn't even realize how late it was. 12 o'clock here. But honestly, just let that sink in to you guys before we go on. Ty Tessman might not have a deal next year. I don't know if he's retired. I don't know if he's he might. He might have a ride, all that type of stuff. That would be great because it would be sad if Ty Tessman is still at the peak of his career, is out of RC racing on a professional level. Tyrone will be fine. He'll probably become a welder up there in Canada and make real money. But think about it. What feeds more people? This? What would you rather fight over? This 5 peso or this 25 pesos? That's my rant. Donnie said, there are many different ways to enjoy the RC hobby. Racing is one corner, crawling and drifting are huge as well, not just bashers. Agreed. But I don't know anybody that's getting paid professionally to do crawling, and I don't know anybody that's paid to do professional drifting in RC racing. In RC racing, we have paid professionals. I'm not saying F them sponsors, Charlie Mack. I'm just trying to show you that if a paid professional can get paid to do his job, we're really not in a good state. But yet that C-main driver thinks he deserves travel and 100%. Can contingency. How are we going to get young people to stay into RC? No money in it. But we need to grow it, right? I will quote JQ. A rising tide raises all ships. If 1,000 people got in, he says 100 people would make a difference. It would. Trust me, it would. If 1,000 people got into RC tomorrow, everything would be better. If 10,000 people got into RC racing tomorrow, it would change everything. If 100,000 people got into it, all right, that's a lot. Let's say 20, 30,000 people got into it. It would be a lot more. But at the same time, the significance of people goes down. The more people that get into RC, the less significant, the less deals are going to be given out because companies won't have to do that. But like I said, there was a time when you had to earn your deal and not just sending and don't get me wrong. It is absolutely nothing wrong with people having a deal. I just think that there should be some rules and regulations to it. So what I'm saying is basically that the industry as a whole cannot focus on trying to grow RC because they're too busy defending the little piece of this 5 peso coin instead of having a bigger piece of the 25 peso coin. Garrett Gatewood, I wonder what percentage of racers actually pay retail on a car versus just go with who will give them a deal starting out. I will guarantee you now that being a retail customer is the abnormal thing in RC now. Has been for quite some time. Charles McKenzie, if less deals were given, more capital and capacity for pros and event recognitions. Yes. There could be more focus on promoting the sport to everybody. Brent Jackson, I can see your point, chassis manufacturer deals, but small companies like RC Body Armor rely on sponsorship deals to get word out at local level. Very few hobby shops pick up my products because they are designed to keep racers' rides in good shape. Hobby shops don't want to lose body paint. I'm not talking about that. As long as RC's been around, there's always been little shops like that, little businesses like that. I'm talking about her is mainly chassis companies. And I'm going to throw in tire companies as well. But mainly chassis companies. JV, at the end of the day, a big picture, proof of governing bodies needs to create an elite level of racing with prize funds for pros. Why not have a $500 buggy entry fee for pro and have cash prize funds? Well, you know what? The Ifmar Worlds cost $500 to enter. How much money do they pay out? None, because the track has to make money off that. Ooh, Kevin Abbott, what do you agree on 100%? My coin demonstration? What's up, Kevin? How are you? Nick Salto, sorry, but I realized J Concepts, for example, really doesn't go through their list of drivers. You know how many people that got on that don't race because they have been there for the last 5 years and try to justify that they are people who are trying to get on. What? Okay. There's lots of people out there sitting on deals that they shouldn't have that don't race anymore, in my opinion. EKJ 24,000 ties an asset to any company he does, social media and video. Why is it to say that? This is why I say Ty is underrated. Why they do Mayfield or Fend? Why they don't do Fend or May? Because I think the big thing with Ty is that for the longest while he has to come with Gord, right? So that's where so kind of Gord's magic of being that guy has worn off a bit. I'm not saying that the knowledge that Gord has and isn't of value, but companies just don't see no value of paying that. So Ty's going to probably have to go on his own and do this. I have paid for everything we have a race with. So what? I mean, that's what you do when you have a sport or hobby. You pay for it. I pay for the food that I eat every day. RC racing isn't mandatory. It's a luxury. But when it becomes your job, it becomes mandatory. We have no separation. People can't separate that. Donnie said, RC armor is great, especially the battery straps. I agree. I have some in my car. Kevin Abbott says, I agree. Sponsorship need to be given more strictly. I agree. But the companies all have to agree to that. Clinic, there has been money races. Yes, there has. In fact, you guys had one up there in Pahrump. Is I saying that right? Tommy Lavesi. Let's be honest. The governing bodies aren't doing a job to grow this hobby. It should be them promoting events, getting on TV, bringing outside money and find a way and get it done. All that takes promotion. Look at Roar. I agree. They should be. I don't harp on Afra too much because Afra has been doing this for a long time. But Roar has just turned around this year. Somewhat. Just somewhat. RC in America is the wild, wild west right now. Joe Jenkins, I mean, it happens. Sergio Perez probably won't have a ride after the next year either. Similar results are tied. It does. But you know what? In F1, there isn't a guy that's down there saying who's finishing in, well, first of all, they don't have no B-mains and stuff in F1. But there's no guy down there that's saying that he needs travel money who's, let's say he's in the C. I'm just saying there's a guy down there in C-main that truly believes that he needs travel money at 100% deal. Kevin Abbott says, bring back the meaning of sponsorship. Being a hobby shop supporter is more rare than sponsorship. Without hobby shops, RC is gone. Brick and mortar shops in general are disappearing. Amazon, eBay has made sure of that. But I'm not against that at all. RC racing is only 1% of the RC hobby. The only way to grow is to put more effort into reaching the mass market. I agree. 100%. 100% with you. That's why I agree with what Mark Sumter is doing. I see Kevin Talbot is now doing more racing stuff as well. But we as RC racers have to stop being these, we're so great. Look at my $5,000 and matching everything I have. Hey, my pen. It's matching my paint job on my car. We need to stop that. We're all legends on our own mind in RC. We're all in our own RC bubble. Yeah, that's something we talked about. Raw needs to have more races regionally. That's something they're working on. Sean Poor says eBay is all I buy from. Local hobby shop doesn't carry Taylor because everybody has a deal. Nobody's going to buy from them. Nick Saltu. What's with these companies and these ambassador programs or contract customer? That's sponsorship. So this is what's going to happen. Ty's just the first one that's going to fall. There's going to be more. There's going to be more falling. I think there's going to be a time where there's going to be no paid professional RC races. And how boring is that going to be? Kevin Stewart, because bashers sell more than RC race part. Yeah, because bashers ain't sponsored. Same thing. If I'm a hobby shop, I'm carrying Traxxas and the Horizon shit. That sells. I'm not carrying a whole bunch of RC stuff unless I have a track. You carry a whole bunch of RC stuff. So some guys can say, well, can I get my team discount at your hobby shop? Oh, Charlie Max. SO to my job. Shout out to my job and American Express for getting me to Silver State. There you go. But that's what you want to do, right? I want to go to Comic-Con in San Diego next year. I got to pay for that. Nobody's going to pay for me to go to that because that's something I want to do. James Titus. What's up, James? How boring or how good will it be for the growth of the hobby? What is exactly? So, I don't know, man. I just thought that would be my rant of the year. Here was on. I hope that Ty gets a deal and stays racing. I hope he does. I really does. I really do. Because I think if he starts, if that happens, then starts the collapse of everything else. It may take 5 years. It may take 10. Oh, James says, he asked, how boring would it be without pro drivers? Well, I don't care what anybody says, but I like watching the pro drivers race. I am never going to be a pro driver. You're never going to be a pro driver, James. 99% of the people that are on this podcast right now are not going to be pro drivers. We can drive, we can race, we can still enjoy the hobby at that point. You may not be a person that freaks out over pro drivers, but I would say more people do. Intermediate has some good races too. But let's put it this way. If the pros don't matter, then why do people encourage them to come to these big races? If the pros don't matter, why do you watch any type of motorsports? Just because we can do RC doesn't mean pros don't matter. I happen to like watching these pro guys race. I think most people do. I happen to watch people who are extremely talented at what they do perform against each other. Just like basketball, just like football, just like soccer, just like F1, just like MotoGP, motocross, supercross, all that type of stuff. I enjoy that. Very good, Tyler Studer. If pros don't matter, why does the viewer count go up to the 1,000 at big events and the pro class comes on? Exactly. Exactly. Oh, Sebastian from Colombia. Only pros must be sponsored now. Anyone can have some kind of sponsorship. That must end for the RC market to grow as well as hobby shops and tracks. Yep. Man, this hat's taking a long time to break in. James says, I'm not saying that they don't matter. However, in my experience, the growth mainly comes from regular guys racing against each other. That doesn't stop. That doesn't stop. Why does that stop? Like, I don't get why people don't. Like, you know what stops it? The illusion of being a pro. Because that's what the RC industry done a good job. Selling you all the illusion. League race. Race because you love it. Watching pro drivers is brilliant. Why can't we do that? Do you think people that are out there putting around on a motocross bike at their local track with their friends they're racing against ever think they're going to be supercross racers? No. I do have a big head, Sean. This was the biggest hat they had. 5'7" and 5'8". It's just taking a long time to form to my head. Exactly, Kevin. So I watch it. Hey, we get from when don't get me wrong, there's some great races in intermediate, there's some great races in sportsmen. But online, that's why you have pro drivers. Use these freaking pro drivers to sell RC racing. You know what I mean? That's what they're used for. It's nothing wrong with admiring guys that are better than you at something. We do it all the time in every other sport. I will agree if you heard Charlie Mack. Watching a sportsman C-man is 10 times more entertaining than some of the pro races where I don't like when they do check out. I do not like when pro racers check out. But it doesn't matter. What's better for selling RC racing? Watching me do 3,050 fucking barrel rolls down the straightaway, or watching 2 pro guys, 3, 4, 5 pro guys battling out, doing these jumps perfectly, doing everything good. Nobody wants to see Lefty, the great idiot, driving, trying to make his way around some track, looking like a freaking pleb. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see that at all. Dude, when you put your best foot forward, what you tell me what professional sport in this world shows fucking the guys who can't make it around the track without crashing? Nobody. There's a reason. You know, in Supercross, there's like 50 people that don't make that race, that night race. Why does everybody have to be good in RC? Why does everybody? That's what pro races are for. $1, Donnie's dad, you pay too much to see me. I can show you how to crash really good. But it's the truth of the matter. And people don't want to hear that. I actually agree with Tyler Studer. He says nothing against streaming the other classes at these big events, but I think more effort needs to be put into the pro race videos or streams. Better video quality to start with, and then more promotion for early pro class. That's what people want to see. Not a bunch of C-man guys banging around the track at each other. That is the truth, the hard truth that people don't want to understand. The problem is that we have to give everybody. When I call us race, I try to give everybody that same excitement. I've seen some great races. Fall Brawl, you have no real pro drives. They had Ryan Lutz, Cole Ogden. But they had some great fucking races. And they were awesome. Came down to the end of the finish. But in between those races, there were guys making a whole bunch of mistakes. Do you want to go watch a professional basketball team that turns the ball over every time they go race it? Can't dunk, can't shoot rough or nothing? No, we do have pro races, D70. It's called the pro class. The problem is, if you focus on that class, people are going to say you're being biased in this way and that way. I don't know. We have to accept that we still need a pro class in RC racing. Just like Supercross needs Supercross pro races, just like motocross and Formula One, basketball, football, real football, baseball. They still tune into what? How many people tune in? Okay, I would say the only exception to this would be college football and NFL. I think college football might be more popular than NFL. But worldwide, NFL is more popular. That's just my thoughts. Anyway, I don't have any more drinks. I'm out. It's now 12:30. I left my kids at home. My kids are home babysitting each other. We've been going for 3 hours and 23 minutes. Why not? We do have a pro series. It's called the actual pro class of RC racing. It just happens to be with bigger races. We did try to have a pro only series. It was called RCGP. It was completely rejected. B. Carson, what are the qualifications of a pro driver? Well, let's put it this way. Let's name some, before I go, let's name some pro races that are of high quality. I would say we have SIC coming up. We have DNC coming up. We have PMB. We have Silver State, Nationals, Wicked Weekend is another big attended pro race. Those are some that I make of. Then we have a World Championship. If you ain't making the A final at 75% of those races to 80% of those races, then you're in a pro. Garrett Gateway, do you think all racers should go kind of like Raw, where their classes are mostly based off chassis sponsor, i.e. sportsman, no sponsor? Raw does not have nothing like that. In Raw, you race one class, and that's it. That's it. You race, and that's where you finish. Like how it used to be back in the day. Joe Jenkins, I always heard if you have any sort of sponsorship, you should not run sportsman, but that happens a lot. Guess what? Sponsorship does not dictate the level, your driving level in RC anymore. It did 25 years ago. It doesn't now. He said roar. No, because, dude, there's literally people that get into RC and in 2 months they have a chassis sponsorship. That person been racing for 2 months. They have a chassis sponsorship. That person is a sportsman racer. No. Sponsorship's gone. You don't get it. Sponsorship doesn't mean shit no more when it comes to the level of your driving skill. That's the hard pill that nobody wants to swallow. It doesn't mean anything. I'm happy when people get sponsored. Don't get me wrong. You save some money. You do all that type of stuff. But sponsorship does not equal skill level. I know guys that have got great deals. They're not good drivers, but they're great ambassadors. They help people at races. They do all that type of stuff. I saw a guy at Wikibay and bump out from the bottom man in sportsman buggy, come off the stand. So what? So what? Why wasn't he bottom man? Maybe he had issues. Oh, I know you're talking about what's his name? X-ray driver. He's good. Probably should have been an intermediate. But guess what? He had issues, and he was in the bottom man of sportsman, and he had a bump all the way up. You think he didn't deserve to be in the A man after bumping up through 10 different finals? Absolutely. That's why they call it a bump. That's why they call it bumping up. What integrity? What structure? There is none. Joe, there should be races. What it's called integrity. What? What? There shouldn't be no classes. What? Finish where you race. Go to the nationals. Go to the nationals. You want to see where you really stand in RC racing? Go to a nationals. That will put you in your place real quick. It doesn't matter. Because sponsorship doesn't matter anymore. Sponsorship just helps you race. Sponsorship helps you buy more stuff. It's like when people tell me they got picked up by a team. You didn't get picked up. You sent in a fucking resume. We'll never go back to one class. You're crazy. I think the Nationals are the best events that they have in America, RC fan. I think it's the one race in America where where Americans race like the rest of the world. Ladder form up, Ifmar style, and no classes. I'm not saying every race has to be like that. But if you're gonna cross, so what? 8 Jesus. I was gonna go, but no, we'll get back another round. So let's take 10 scale. 10 scale, you have stock and you have mod, right? And then you have 21.5, and you actually have a mechanical difference in the cars, right? You do. So you have 21.5, you have 17.5, you have 13.5, and then you have mod. So there's a mechanical difference. It's kind of like motocross, 250. Well, let's go back to old school motocross. You had 125, 250s, and then you had 500s. That's old school. Now you have 250. You have the PB classes, and you have 250, you have 450. There's no separation like that in 8 scale. That's the problem. in a perfect world, there'll be a separate something to separate these classes, but there isn't. So now we have these imaginary lines that have been drawn up, which separates people, but there's no real rules and regulations there. I constantly heard people say, "Well, that guy sponsored, he shouldn't be a sportsman." I think everybody fucking is sponsored nowadays. Like I said, I see people that get in this hobby and 3 months later they have a sponsorship. There should be a rule. You have to at least be racing 2 years and have 2 years worth of proof before you get a chassis sponsorship. There's all right, Donnie's dad. I'll see you guys at SIC. Thank you, buddy. Sponsorship is completely out of hand, but nobody wants to do nothing about it because it's all a dick measuring contest too. I got 50% off. I got 75% off. I'm doing this, but you guess what? A 75% deal is just as good as that 35% deal at a different company. It's all an illusion, man. It's all an illusion. Boom. And here's how we fix it. You should have to fill out a generic application at Raw to become sponsored. We'll talk about more than that on another thing. So what, Kevin Stewart? No matter the deal, you're still paying. Why should you get free stuff? I like to go out to eat. I like to take my family out to eat, right? It's a luxury. I can't afford to go out to eat every day. I can't afford to go out every week. It's once a month. You got to pay in life. Do I go into Walmart and say, hey, I like this cup, but I want a 50% deal? Get the fuck out of here. Tell me where you go. Anywhere. Hey, I want to fly to America. I want a better deal. Give me 50% off. Come on, guys. You guys are not dealing with reality. So what? If this cup costs $15, if I want it, I go pay $15 for it. But in RC, I want to pay 10. Yeah, you guys don't want to hear the hard truth. And I'm just saying, look, I have no issue with the classes and all that type of stuff. I just get tired of hearing people say, well, he's a sportsman, he shouldn't be sponsored. Well, he shouldn't be doing this. I think that it comes down to this whole big fact that sponsorship does not equate to skill level anymore. So who gives a fuck? If everybody's going to be sponsored, which pretty much is the normal thing now, then it doesn't matter who that is if who's sponsored in sportsman. Because probably 80% of the people in that class are sponsored with him. I hate to break it down to you guys, but that's just the facts of the matter. And if guess what? You know why Ty Tessman probably can't get a deal next year to get paid to do something that he loves, that he's worked his ass off to do something? It's because everybody's on a goddamn deal. Guess what? If I was doing this podcast in a different industry, I'd actually make a living wage and pay my bills. But I don't. If I kissed ass and said everything was right and went and did everything that everybody says and was a yes man, then I'd probably make some money and just about not to make my wage. But no, we choose to push issues and make RC better. And of course, we get blacklisted for that. Luckily, the people also see, but also, look, I'm all about the people, but sometimes the people have to be taught about themselves too. RC will not grow until the industry as a whole concentrates on growing RC racing. But the industry is too scared to meander from the path that they're on in the fear of losing one or two drivers. I'm not saying sponsorship should go away. It's not going to happen. I'm saying there should be some control on it. It's always been shown prohibition doesn't work. There'll always be some way to get around it. Legalize it, control it, put some rules to it, and it'll be a lot better for everybody. But that takes structure. That takes people wanting to piss people off. That takes people, like for me, if you're a prolific chassis jumper or sponsor jumper, there should be some rule that you don't get sponsored for 2 years by any company. But the problem is some other small company that's trying to make a name is going to sponsor you. But there should be some repercussions there. But that takes all the companies getting together, having a meeting, and having a discussion about stuff. Bring some prestige back to sponsorship. Make it worth something. Then we can start saying, well, that guy's actually sponsored because he's good. He shouldn't be in sportsman, instead of, oh, he's only beating me because he's sponsored. No, he's beating you because he's better than you. That's the hard pill you don't want to swallow. Nobody's in charge, Tyler Studer. That's the problem. You know who's in charge? The people with the most money in the industry. That's who's in charge. Because they can afford to do things that others can't. So it takes some discipline. That's why when everybody was pissing and moaning about TLR and what they're doing with the RPP program, I thought it was freaking awesome. Make you responsible for your deals, damn it. Make you responsible. You only got 30% off. Well, guess what? Go out there and do well. Do well. You get some money back. Yeah. And more companies should do that. Lower the cost of RC. Alloy wrench for taking nuts off your wheels costs $25. How can they lower the cost when everybody's getting a deal off that $25 wrench? Don't you look? Jason Reynolds made a very good point on one of his podcasts on RIP on the Radio Impound podcast. He said when he was a kid, he wanted a clotbuster so bad, but he calculated it. The clotbuster was like $300 and $400. Like $400 back then in the 80s. And he calculated it. That's just for the kit. It was $350 back in the 80s. He said, not right now in this time of day, it will be $800 just for the kit. RC hasn't gotten more expensive. Life has gotten more expensive. Everything's gotten expensive. You can go buy that same $25 nut wrench at, you guys live in America. You have Home Depot, Lowe's, all those Mac Masters, all that type of stuff. TLR tried to start the trend, but got flamed for it, and other companies scooped up a lot of their guys and left because they got cut. That's exactly what I'm talking about in a nutshell right there. Everybody's scared to do it because they're afraid of losing that first hit. That first hit's going to be hard. Now, TLR can take it because they got Horizon, but not all these other companies can. You know? That is the problem. But you see that more and more companies will start doing what they're doing. They took a hit. But guess what? TLR is still here. People are still signing for them. They're still going for races. People are still participating in the RPP program. Another point from a person that actually works in the RC industry. Matt Olson. Wrench costs $8 to make. Think about employees, insurance, quality at that. It's $16 for a McDonald's meal. Cost of raw goods is going up. Make raw goods cost less. Prices will go down. Less deals too. when everybody has a discount, everything goes up. It's like people who get a 75% deal off MSRP. You're not getting 75% off retail. You're getting 75% off an inflated MSRP price. And you know what? Nobody likes to see anybody in RC make money. These companies have to make money. This podcast has to make money. I have to make money. Because it's not only enough to survive in RC, you have to, it's not good enough to just survive. You have to thrive. Because none of you guys out there are going to work just to survive. You want to thrive. I want to thrive. I want to take my family on vacation. I want to build a house. I want to do this. Now, I could do that if I go do something else. But I choose RC. To do it. I'm just fortunate enough to do it, do something that I love and make a really scratch out a living out of it. Trust me, because it's just about that. Probably going to be less now after this podcast. But this is what Lefty Off The Records are about, right? Or about sitting on her having a hard conversation about the reality of RC. I happen to be a person that has to travel around and see lots of different things. We are very fortunate to do RC racing. It is not a necessity. It's not a necessity. It's a luxury. We get to do it, and we get to enjoy it. And everything is more expensive nowadays. RC is still relatively the same cost as it was back in the day. No difference. Like everything is inflated. Now, cost, the amount of stuff that we use has increased. Amount of tires, amount of this, amount of that. Trying to be the best. Trying to do this. But that's a whole nother rant for another day. That's what, for the life of me, I can't understand why 8 scale is so against spec tires. But that's a rant for another day. You see what I'm saying? These companies have to not only survive, they have to thrive. Because none of us in this chat want to work for minimum wage and scrape by every month. Well, that goes the same for the RC companies too. Good night, Kevin Stewart. Bruggy for life. It's not Truggy no more. Joe Jenkins, you should do a studio tour video one. So I have to really fix my studio up, and I'm very proud of my action figures, Joe Jenkins, and I have some that I have to unbox and set up. I'm thinking I'm off all of February, and then I have some boats that I have to mount up as well. So I'm just kind of waiting until I do all of that. And then I'll do a full tour. Like I'll walk from my house here, do a tour and all that type of stuff. But thank you guys for joining me. Rick Hayes, if the other brands did what TLR did, people would actually buy the best car for their driving style or with the best support. Maybe that scares some of them. That is a fucking great point too as well, Rick Hayes. Very great point. Very great point. Very good point. But anyway, guys, I was a great Lefty Off The Record. I went way longer than I thought I was, but you know how it goes when we start ranting on this type of stuff. I love all you guys. You know, when I start getting on these rants, it's nothing personal. It's just my thoughts on what I think what's going on in the hobby sport. I want to see things better. And I will quote JQ again, a rising tide raises all ships. And we all get better if the industry gets better. Thank you for the awesome 2023. None of this would have been possible without you guys' support. I'll see a lot of you at these races coming up and over the year. I do have a podcast dropping next week. It will be, it's with Track Rats guys. It's pretty hardcore. It's all about the 12 scale worlds and all that stuff. It's pretty fun though. It was a fun chat with them. That'll come out next week. I'm really going to try and do some live shows from the races, probably SIC and Florida Carpet Championships, Florida RC Championships. We'll see if Beast of the East allows for that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to 2024, man. Thank you guys. I love you all, seriously. And thank you guys for making some idiot who talks too much about RC making his dream come possible. I do want to race a little bit more next year. And yeah, we'll be doing more Lefty Off The Records next year as well. So thank you. And watch out for Elite RC Productions. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff next year. And I look forward to 2024 and RC racing. If you want something to call RC, message me. Oh, yeah. Okay. Please, guys. Message me if you want. Email me, thenonamrcpc@gmail.com. Go to episode 264. If you want something there, email me if your shipping address, what you want, and all that type of stuff, so I can send this out. If it doesn't come to me by the end of January, that's it. You're not going to get it. If you want something on the Call RC, program this week, let me know. Tommy, we're actually trying to work on doing something for the Nats this year in Atlanta. We'll see how it works for the boat races. Please email me. You guys have a safe and happy New Year's. Be safe. All that good stuff. Don't do nothing too crazy. And let's make 2024. Let's make a change in 2024. You, me, everybody, we can be an ambassador for RC. Let's get new people into RC racing. Let's show the world what we do. Let's stop being nerds in the field. And let's start being proud of what we do. You know, and bragging about RC racing and what we do and showing people what we do. And let's get more people. I love you guys. One love. Lefty is out. Looking for the outro. Oh, sorry. Also, I wanted to say thank you to all of the awesome people that support this podcast, the NNRC squad, the patrons, the NNRC patrons, the NNRC YouTube members. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you to all the companies that support the podcast. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Sun Pedal USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Hot Race Tires, Mayako, Beach RC, Clinic RC, Techno RC, Ignite Design RC, Stacked RC, Donovan RC, Racecraft USA, Florida Carpet Championships, Elite RC Productions. Shout out to SJ Racing, Call RC, House of RC, RCGP, David Runfolk, Jared Tebow, Robert Batty, Alexander Hagberg, Matty G. If you guys want to help the podcast, there's written links in various other podcasts. I'll add them to this one later. Affiliate links, all that type of stuff. Go there, spend some money, help us out. We appreciate it. Thank you. Love you guys. Lefty is because I want to be sponsored by Lefty. I can sponsor you with unicorn dollars. I got billions of them. Billions and billions of unicorn dollars. That said, Lefty is out.